All right. Looks like we are here. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. And of course, if you're watching this post stream, well, thanks for watching it, clicking on it, and all that type of stuff beforehand. So let's see here. Let's make sure we've got everything happening right now. I think let's make sure that we've got good quality and all that type of stuff launching here. And I think we do. So, anyway, cool. I'm really happy that you guys are joining in. Want to make sure that everything looks like it's good. And I think we are pretty good over here. All right, sweet. Good, good, good. Seeing you guys in the chat already. Man, I'm not wearing flip-flops. I could already see you guys coming out saying that. Nope, got my boots on. All right, thank you very much. Not wearing flip-flops this time at least. But anyway, hey guys, thank you all so much for joining. I really do appreciate you guys joining in. It's always such a good time seeing y'all, catching up. What we're planning to do every single week now. So make sure you're sharing this with your friends and family and pro-gun people, anti-gun people especially, because something that I want to do in these chats and these live streams is, well, let's get these non-gun people in here and let's talk, man. Let's get you down in the comments. Let's see if there's anything we can do to try to find some common ground. Might be a little difficult because, well, I'm considered what you call very pro-gun. Not exactly an extremist, but depending on how you feel about it, I guess you could consider it an extremist. If you think that the personal right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness should always be defended, and typically defended by utilizing your and exercising your Second Amendment rights, some people might consider you an extremist. All right. So anyway, monologue done. Let's get into some of these questions and see you guys down in here. By the way, I will try to get to as many questions as possible, but of course, for those of you that are eager to send in those super chats and contributions, we really appreciate it. And of course, I'll make sure you guys get to the top of the list. Anyway, let's go ahead and check it out. I already answered one question where somebody was asking if, I wear flip-flops or whatever. I do on occasion, but not right now. Got my boots on. All right. So anyway, this is a good one. This is pretty funny if you ask me. This you're pretty much wanting to know if Fedboy is here. ATF has entered the chat. That's pretty good. Yeah, Kaya, are you in here, man? Come say hey if you are. If not, well, then I guess maybe he'll tune into the next one. I don't know, but anyway, man, for all of you that were waiting for us to hop on, I really appreciate you. That's pretty awesome. But anyway, you guys are pretty funny. All right, I see you there, Scott from Greenville, South Carolina. Hello. I've spent a lot of time in Greenville, so very cool. I love that city. Greetings from sunny Arizona. That's awesome. Appreciate you guys. No, I'm not. There it is. No, I'm not wearing the flip-flops. All right. Howdy, howdy. See you guys all in here. Appreciate you guys so much. And have I used the Mantis X10 Elite before? Yes. It's actually a really cool system. It tracks pretty much everything that you're doing. For those of you that are like me and you're really big into, what's the word I'm looking for? Dry fire practice. This is that, the Mantis X10 Elite, and they've got a couple of different variations too for your pistol and rifle. It actually tracks your trigger pull, tracks all of that. It's pretty interesting stuff. 10 out of 10 would recommend if you're wanting to use something other than ammunition to get those dry fire reps in. Granted, if it's, dry fire, not using ammunition anyways, or at least you shouldn't, because that would be kind of awkward. But anyway, it's a really good system. All right. So yeah, I would definitely recommend. Interesting choice here about the flag that's behind me, the Betsy Ross flag, because no, it's not. All right, this is definitely a patriotic flag, and since the 4th of July is coming up, I don't care that we're a little about a month and a half away to celebrate our nation's independence. I'm going to start, going hard and celebrating early. All right. So there you go. Good to see you guys. Nico, what's up? Hope you guys are doing really, really well. Now, last week, by the way, a comment was brought up about, ultimately a well-regulated militia and, pretty much the Federalist 29. And if you guys had the opportunity to read it, I took the time to do it. And it's ultimately Madison's take on pretty much, what is the well-regulated militia and things like that. And I keep kind of going back and forth with it a little bit, but ultimately, you know, there are some pretty good, I guess you could say, comments that are in this. And I would like to get some of y'all's ideas or perspective and opinions about Federalist 29. And we'll come back to this here a little bit later, but I just want to get y'all thinking that are already tuned in that we will come back to this subject in a bit. And let's just see what you guys think. Do you think we, the people, are the militia? And what do you define as well regulated? All right. So we're going to be talking about that here in just a bit. I think it'll be pretty fun. All right. Simplify, Black Fist Tactical from PA. Appreciate it, man. Love the content. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Love the shirt. Thank you guys. And man, quite a few of y'all in here already. Cool. So let me get over to the Instagram comments because we put up a story earlier about, you know, if you know, as I was going live 6 p.m. Eastern, and let's see if you guys had any questions. So let's see if we've got, you know, any answers into this. And yeah, it looks like we do. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to start at the bottom here. And one of the first ones from RE Jones 843, why can't I win the what you find at cfcontest.com? And I'm not going to say it's that you can't win. It's just you got to keep trying. All right. A lot of people entering. And on top of that, the good news is we've always got one going on. So you can find it at cfcontest.com. That's all I'm saying. All right. Cool. Oh, we got a super chat or super sticker over here from Federico. Hey, appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. That means a lot. Appreciate you guys. I love it. All right. This is a good question too from Terrence Terrence W3. What type of scope suits a longer barrel 5.56 gun looking for a 200 to 300 yard setup? You can reach 200 to 300 yards with a 16-inch barrel AR. Easy. All right. You can do it with a 14.5. Easy. 10.3. You can make contact with the target, but again, you're losing a lot of that 5.56 efficiency or effectiveness on target whenever you start reaching those distances. But anyway, so as far as a scope goes, on my Mark 12, which is an 18-inch AR, essentially, I do have a 4 to 12, 3 to 12, 4 to 12. It's an older scope, the Leupold Mark AR. It's a 4 to 12, and I feel comfortable engaging targets out to 800 yards on that gun. If you're looking between 2 to 300 yards, I'll be honest with you, at that distance, you're effectively in a good red dot zone. Some people might disagree with that, but 2 to 300 yards, you can easily start to figure out, oh, I'm shooting high, I'm shooting low, I'm shooting what, Kentucky windage that thing, get hits on target. If you want to be, you know, not Kentucky windage, but you want to be as accurate as possible, get that too. Go with some minimal LPVO all day. Low power, variable optic, absolutely. There are some great ones out there. There's some 1 to 10s out there. There's some, there's some, even 1 to 6s. You know, Swamp Fox came out. Actually, I don't know if they came out with it yet. Shit. There's some new stuff coming from Swamp Fox. Let's say there's some really good things out there. First focal plane, stuff like that. That's coming to the market. That should be really exciting. That's in a really budget friendly price range. So definitely take a look at Swamp Fox. Vortex has a lot of good offerings for you as well, but stay tuned because we're probably going to be featuring some new Swamp Fox stuff. So hopefully I don't think I signed anything, so I think I'm okay. But anyway, so there you have that. All right. And guys, don't forget to let our buddy know, Terrence W3 down in the comments here, what kind of optics do you guys like to use for that type of distance? All right. So I'm checking a couple of them here. I see you guys, Vortex Razor Gen 3. Let's see. Mr. Short mentioned something. I've been hearing talk of a 15.1 inch AR-15 5.56 barrel that SOCOM has been using. Do I know anything about it? I don't. Wonder what big of a difference 1 inch will make to a lot of us. It makes quite a bit of a difference. So I'm not sure, honestly, about that. So, you know, I'll have to figure that one out, I guess. All right. But anyway, so let me see if a couple of other guys, Tango MSR, good one. There you go. this is also another good question here from Black Fist Tactical. And we can get more into optics for different ranges and stuff like that. But Black Fist Tactical saying, any instructors or myself with advice for a student that's right-handed and left eye dominant? Yeah, so that gets a little tricky, right? So depending on what you're shooting, rifle or pistol, because I've got friends that are left-handed that are right eye dominant, and they just shoot right-handed to make it easier. If you can shoot left-handed to make it easier, go about doing that. Even if you're right-handed and you're shooting a pistol, one thing you can do, and this is something I do under night vision, is I'll actually take right arm, right eye, and then just move it over to where I'm focusing now on my left eye, right? So do the same type of thing where you're saying you're right-handed, left eye dominant, just move that on over, right? It's going to take time and it's going to take practice, but that's one thing you can do. I'm sure there's some people down here that are in a similar boat as you as well, that can probably answer that question also, and what has worked out for them. That's one thing I really like about doing these live streams and chats, is the fact that we get a lot of people involved in answering some of y'all's questions too, because I can tell you what works for me. I don't consider myself an instructor. I consider myself mostly self-taught. Until recently, actually, I don't really even consider the Marine Corps teaching me much, except for perhaps, really getting down to the fundamentals. But I can say that attending some of the courses, like with Battle Line Tactical with Chris Tonto, which, by the way, this Saturday, I think I'll be hopping on a podcast with him. So that should be pretty freaking fun. But anyway, there's all sorts of things out there. So there's that. But yeah, it's a cheese fries. I see a cheese fries. I'm left eye dominant, but shoot pistol right-handed and do the same thing. And I'm left-handed. So yeah. But anyway, so there you go. There's all sorts of different classes I've taken, like the Fort Scott Munitions Battle Line Tactical class with Tonto, Thunder Ranch with Clint Smith, Kyle Lamb, got to train with him a little bit. And all of these guys have different solutions to what is a similar problem like that. And really the biggest thing is like, okay, hey, try this, try that, and then find what works best for you. But honestly, just, what am I trying to say? Practice, train, dry fire. That's the biggest thing you can do, is find one of those and do it. All right. Anyway, let's get back down here to the Graham. Will we do a review of the new Brigade manufacturing BM15? I'm sure we will at some point. Love Brigade. Those guys are awesome. They make a really good affordable AR that works well. Especially they got into it with their direct blowback 9mm. So these are good dudes. And yeah, I'm sure we probably will do a review of the BM15. All right. And oh man, this is a difficult one. Again, on Instagram, what would be your one rifle, one pistol, one shotgun for the zombie apocalypse? One rifle, one pistol, one shotgun. Oh, that's rough. Okay, so I may have been playing with a 11.5 inch suppressed Spear LT, chambered in 5.56, and with a Huxworks Flow 5.56 can on it. I know a lot of you are probably thinking, oh, it's definitely gonna be the Mark 18, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, Mark 18 works, things like that, but that Spear LT does feel really, really good. Expect more content on that. My one pistol, I do love my FNX 45 Tactical a lot. You guys know that. And are we talking like Walking Dead zombies, or are we talking like 28 weeks later zombies? You know what I mean? So, because I would much rather take the Walking Dead guys, because it's just a headshot. That's easy enough to do, and they're slow and all that type of stuff. But anyway, Walking Dead, by the way, did y'all watch that final season? I don't think it's too much of a spoiler alert, but it looks like these zombies are starting to evolve a little bit. I don't know. It seems like we got some spinoffs coming. I don't know if I'm excited or not. It was a good show that should have ended, 5 years ago, but whatever. Anyway, as far as a shotgun goes, I'm really having it would either be my Remington 870 tactical pump. It's just reliable and it just freaking runs, or a Benelli M4. That's a toss up for me, because it's kind of like, do I want semi-auto? Do I want a pump? I don't know. I feel like I could run pretty well with the pump action. I'm just saying, so there you go. Anyway, Going back to one of our previous questions, Andy Hayes has something for you, Black Tactical. You're better off shooting the dominant eye side, especially when learning to shoot both eyes open. Yeah, that makes sense. And I am an advocate for shooting both eyes open. That is something that I would 10 out of 10 recommend. So, there you go. All right. I have not heard anything about this, Michael Hernandez. What Michael's asking is if we've heard anything about the ruling on medical marijuana and card carrying concealed weapons permit. Let's just see if there's anything else out there right now, and let's get into this because I think that's actually a really good topic. Medical marijuana and concealed carry weapons. As in my mind, let's see, Harvard Journal of Law and Public Policy, medical marijuana permits and concealed carry weapon permits specifically does. So this is something I'm going to have to do more research on. I haven't heard much of anything else about it. I'm trying to see when like some of the latest news is. And the closest thing we got is about maybe a month ago with Arkansas passing a bill to protect medical marijuana patients' right to carry concealed guns. Good, they should. Because, if you've got a medical issue, what is that supposed to – are you supposed to, just because you have a medical issue where you utilize marijuana at a, prescribed dosage and you don't abuse that, right? Like you could, I guess. Then yeah, you should absolutely have your right to self-defense, right to your Second Amendment rights. Makes sense to me. So haven't heard anything new about that though. Okay. All right. And unless there's something else too, unless we got some politicians or something in here watching the live stream that might know something about that. I don't freaking know, but anyway, let's see. Tanner just asked this question too. I'll get back to Instagram here in just a moment. HK or FN, if you could have an entire lineup of guns and why? God, y'all make this difficult. An entire lineup, dude. It's probably gonna have to be HK, honestly. Like I love FN and what they have to offer, but I think about some of the guns that I haven't gotten to play with per se. Like I'm thinking like international. You're saying their entire lineup of guns. That means all their full autos, all their everything, right? And FN, yeah, sure, they got the 240 and the 249, all that stuff. I've played with all that stuff. That's fun. But something a little bit more practical on my side, like if we're talking, like the actual MR556 or the 416, the 417, we're talking about the M110A1. We're talking about some pretty freaking cool guns that I absolutely want in my arsenal. So it's going to be the HK for me. This is a good question though. If you guys could choose either one, who would it be? Right. So yeah, exactly. Austin. It would be me and my MP7, which by the way, I've had the opportunity to shoot a full auto MP7, before. And yeah, it's absolutely awesome. So, there you go. But anyway, that's how I feel about that. All right. Let's see. I see a couple more of you guys in here. Let me get back to a couple of the Instagram questions as well. Oh, man. Let's see. I see a couple here. I'm going to answer the ones that I definitely know off the top of my head. Like what still targets do we use in our YouTube videos? Those are the TA targets. So those are the condensed C-zone targets. They're smaller. I don't know what their exact dimensions are, but they're small. All right. They're small little targets that are hard to pick up, especially whenever they're not painted and at a little bit of a distance. So that's something that you guys should, keep in mind when you see our videos, and you might see a couple of misses. That's because these targets are not big whatsoever. TA targets, condensed C-zone. Let me see if I can get, let's see, C-zone still target 12 inch by 24 inch. Is that what it is? Or is that's just a C-zone target? Oh, reduced C-zone is 8 by 16 inches. So there you go. 8 by 16 inches. That's a small little guy. All right. 8 by 16 inches. And that's typically what we're making contact with at 100 yards, things like that. Okay. TA Targets is the name of the company, though. They make some great stands. They make great targets. We've been shooting the ever-living crap out of ours, if you guys have seen in video, and they work really, really well. I also used they go by like ID targets, what am I trying to, Infinity targets, the self-healing rubber targets that are super cool. Love those. Those are awesome. For like $100, you get yourself one heck of a cool target. And it's good. Reusable up to 110 rounds per square inch of like 5.56, which I think is pretty neat. And if you make a purchase, go ahead and utilize that code MAGDUMP. That might, help you out a little bit. All right. But anyway, so those are the targets that we use mostly. All right. Anyway, coming back through a couple more too. I'm seeing you guys in here. Let's see. Dark Invite Clint did to After Dark. Dark Invite. All right. Let's see here. Oh, this is a good one because thoughts on the Beretta 1301 Tactical versus the new Beretta 8300. What does it call it? The Ultima, something like that. Look, that new 8300 is sweet. All right, but I don't have any rounds downrange with it yet. Not afraid to say that, and I do mean yet. The 1301 is probably one of my favorite semi-auto shotguns, and I kind of actually forgot about it when it came down to that zombie question, because the 1301 would definitely be up on my list, especially if it's completely customized, things like that. But again, versus like the Benelli M4, that'd be kind of I feel like that could be another. Again, if it's up to me and I don't have to spend all that money, then yeah, sure, I'll probably go with the Benelli M4. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Anyway, oh man, here's another good question too. Do I carry? Jay Kennedy's wanting to know if I carry my mags inside or outside the waistband and why. If I'm concealed carrying, inside the waistband. Why? Because my holster, which I don't have right here in my vicinity, I could show you the holster, but not the gun because live streaming. Quite simply of the concealed carry factor. And my holster has a sidecar, mount built into it. So yeah, of course, Alpha Mega Kydex, of course, I'm going to run and gun with that. All right. Anyway, and if I'm running, outside the waistband, it's because I'm running my overt kit, my AWS gear, with the thigh rig and all that type of stuff. And I've got mag pouches that are all on the outside. Again, that's a lot more overt, not so much covert. So there you go. All right. But anyway, so Senpai Azuru, what's the cheapest and reliable submachine guns I could afford that's not a 22? You could actually build one fairly cheap. If you wanted to, you could probably have a couple grand in it. Right. Now, if you wanted to actually own a legitimate submachine gun that's transferable, you're talking money, like lots of it. But as far as actually building one goes, again, I haven't done it myself. So I, with paperwork. So, I can't really tell you exactly like all the, how you'd go about doing all of that and how much that would cost at the end of the day. So, but the cheapest and reliable submachine gun that you could afford, if you're looking just to buy a transferable one, I don't know. I feel like you'd probably find a direct blowback AR9 fairly cheaply. I mean, if I just type in the internet, let's just see what comes up. I mean, let's type in, yes, I am of age. How about that? Let's just type in submachine gun and see what comes up on the internet. Don't you love this country? So yeah, look, first thing that pops up, you can get a, let's see, sample machine gun eForm 3 for $12,000. You can get parts kits out there. You can get kits that get rebuilt. You just got to do a quick Google search and see what comes up there for you. There's a $4,000 Brazilian FAU. That's 9mm Cobra M11. That's pretty cool. There's a couple of different options for you out there. There's some cut receivers. If you go through the proper and legal way of doing that, you can actually re-railed cut receivers to work. There's post 86 dealer sample HKMP5. There's a bid. It gets pretty pricey pretty quick. So yeah, there's all sorts of different options for you out there. All right. So you just have to do kind of a quick Google search. Okay. Transferable is going to cost you money. That's all there is to it though. All right. Anyway, this is a funny question. Oh, wait, that's not the one I meant to click on, but whatever. We'll go with it. Just passed a house with 12 unmarked cop cars outside and a bunch of ATF boys walking around. Someone is going to big boy prison. What street were you on? Anyway, don't answer that. Okay. Yeah, I guess so. Maybe. That kind of sucks. What state are you in? That's actually a good question. So, speaking of a bunch of cop cars and ATF vehicles or whatever the heck else you saw, Joshua Johnson wants to know what I'm going to do with all the braces I have on my pistols. Well, right now they're going to stay there. So that's all I got to say about that. It's not May 31st yet. Even if it was, it'd probably still just stay there. All right, cool. Anyway, continuing on here. Oh, yeah, let me get back to some of the Instagram stuff. Hey, I was just making sure, all right? You know, you can't be too cautious these days, all right? Anyway, let's see here. One question is, why can't we just buy all things firearms related, from silencers to SBRs, if it's done legally? I don't understand the question. Why can't we just buy all things firearms related, from silencers to SBRs, if it's done legally? You can. Do you mean like on our website? Because we're not a NFA dealer yet. So that's why. But if you're talking, if it's done legally, I mean, you can. It's all right. So am I missing something? Y'all respond down below. Got us another super chat down in here. DOD After Dark. Thanks for what you do, man. Appreciate you in the Classic Firearms channel. A great deal. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Would love to have you on my show. If you're open to it, let me know. Thanks. Hashtag F the ATF. Well, I mean, with that hashtag, side me up, man. Shoot me a DM, magdump_Morgan, and let's see what you got. Let's have some fun, right? I love talking with you guys, so let's do it, okay? And let me see if I can find that so I can actually put that up there so you guys can see that really quick. I can see another couple of ones over there that are in the NFA. Really appreciate that. Absolutely. For those of you that don't know, the NFA is the National Firearms Act, and it's a load of shit. And it's one that quite simply shouldn't exist. That's the one that makes it, you know, not impossible, but very difficult, and already adds yet another tax that we pay so many taxes on to pretty much exercising your Second Amendment right and owning things like short-barreled rifles, like short-barreled shotguns, like silencers, and so on and so forth. And then there's the Gun Control Act of 1980, whatever the fuck, but you know, all of that just needs to go away, and that's all there is to it. So anyway, yeah, 86, I think. So yeah, machine guns, all of it, I am under my opinion, and I honestly, you know, is that it should all be legal. I should be able to walk into my local Walmart and buy an MP5 and a silencer to go with it, or an MP5 SD for a very reasonable price. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, why shouldn't I? You know, just because some other asshole decided to break the law and be a douchebag doesn't mean my rights should be suppressed. It doesn't work, right? I mean, so what can you do? Anyway, look at Serbia. Okay, let's see here. I am taking a look. I see another super chat in here from Cyan Zero. Appreciate you, and there you are. What aftermarket? See if I can speak. What aftermarket mag for Glock 34 would you recommend from your site? Ooh, okay. So you can never go wrong with the Glock OEM. 33 round mag, whatever it is. But you're asking specifically for the Glock 34, and I just want to see what all we got going on. I mean, it's going to take the same mag as your, 19 or 17, whatever I'm trying to say right now. So that would be fine. But from our website, there's amend 2A. Is that what I'm thinking of? Second Amendment to amend 2 mags. There we are. If I could freaking speak. Yeah, amend 2 mags work really, really well. I'd stay away from like the super budget friendly ones, because one thing that we'll see a lot of is the spine breaking. You know, I think I can show off magazines on live streams, right? So here's just a mag. This is an old Glock 19 magazine. And what you would find on a lot of really inexpensive magazines, first of all, they don't have metal feed lips. I'm trying to show that off. right? Which again, isn't too big of a deal. Okay. That's not too big of a deal. There's some good companies out there that make high quality polymer and that the feed lips don't bend, separate, and start to break or crack. I'm trying to, combine the words both break and crack. But another thing that you'll find on a lot of inexpensive magazines or some off-brand bags or whatever else they might be is they take one drop, one hit, something like that, and then all of a sudden the spine back here is cracking. Right. And that's no good because, well, you need that to maintain its integrity for it to reliably feed the rounds into the chamber. And if it doesn't do that, then your gun doesn't work. And if your gun doesn't work, you die. So, that's how I feel about that. So how much is it worth to you? Your life. So make sure you invest in high quality gear, accessories, firearms, training, all of the above. All right. Anyway, let's take a look here too. I see we've got another super chat here from Scott. I'm going to go ahead and get to you as soon as I find you. There we go. Thoughts on the Holosun SCS. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up right now. That's the little micro boy, right? Is that? Because I just recently added on my SIG 365 macro the Holosun 507K. And the SCS, that looks like a nice little optic. Do I think it would withstand, however, 10 millimeter recoil? That's a really good question and something that I think we could definitely test out. We can get that optic in and absolutely abuse it. I love to torture test stuff, as does Kaya. So he and I would definitely be all for that. All right. But as far my initial, what am I trying to say? My initial thought process is yes, that it would handle 10 mil, 40 cal, 9 mil, obviously, just fine. 357 SIG, probably fine. Again, if the way I look at it is Holosun isn't exactly they're not a cheap brand and they're not some, no name, I guess you could say. And having seen actually some of the inner workings of some of their optics as it is, when I've spoken with these guys, I've seen what they could do in a short time. I've seen what they could do as far as like when we were at SHOT Show, we saw their night vision and thermal integrated red dots, which are super freaking cool, by the way. And they just make a quality product. That's, again, why I'm comfortable carrying one of their optics on my personal, and I can still carry my 365 macro. So do I think this SCS? Yeah, I do. Now, when I do some pretty rough testing with it, because we've got some 10 millimeter, we've got a Springfield XD that Kaya is really fond of, that I feel like we could throw this red dot on and do a couple of mag dumps with it and see how it performs. So that would be one that I think would be a lot of fun. All right. So anyway, let's go ahead and get to a really good comment here. I know this isn't really a question, but this is a good comment from Seb coming from YouTube. Guys, make sure to prevent the suppressor ban bill doesn't pass. Take care of your rights. That's absolutely right. So make sure, just go ahead and follow gun owners. That's going to be for Gun Owners of America. That's at Gun Owners for Gun Owners of America. They do a lot to fight for your and preserve your Second Amendment rights, as does Firearms Policy Coalition. And you know what? Verbally support the NRA. And here's why I say that. Because they make a great punching bag that all these anti-gun lobbyists like to go after. The guys that are actually doing the work fly under the radar because the NRA keeps getting beat up. All right. So you know what? Verbally support the NRA. All right. As far as financially and where you actually want to put your money where the mouth is type of thing, Firearms Policy Coalition. There's the obviously Gun Owners of America. There's all sorts of pro 2A grassroots organizations that do the job and don't pay their face of their company a overinflated monthly clothing allowance. Anyway, push through the life, hashtag PTL. Thank you for the $10 donation contribution. That means a lot. Thank you so freaking much. All right. Oh man. So this is a pretty funny comment because Cheap Poetry says, why does YouTube promote bullshit shorts with obvious illegal guns, but put a muzzle on Pro 2A YouTubers who put an effort into their media? Grand Thumb Donut Operator, you guys, first of all, appreciate that. And, I don't know if I've seen shorts that have obviously illegal guns. In my mind, no guns are illegal. So fire away, boys. But at the same time, if there's something that is common among law enforcement to be considered an offense to own, maybe don't record yourself and throw it up all over social media, right? If you have such a thing. But anyway, not legal advice, by the way. I am not Clint the lawyer. I'm just mag dump Morgan who likes to mag dump guns. Legal and illegal, whatever, dude. Anyway, like I said, illegal guns don't exist. Now, crimes do exist. Illegal, actions with a tool, yeah, that can exist. And that's ultimately what firearms are, tools. Anyway, but why does YouTube promote shorts? So because they get a lot of money. They get a lot of ad revenue and everything off of shorts. A lot of people are going to that because we live in a society where we are very much so attention deficit, right? In other words, something quick, fast, in a hurry, lights flashing, really explosive sounds, whatever else it might be, all of that thrown at you really fast for about a 10-second segment. Okay, cool. That was neat. That gets your attention. That blows up, gets all sorts of popularity and views. You swipe on to the very next one. And then all of a sudden you're on their site for hours, generating ad revenue for that site. That's why they promote such things, because we have gained such a short attention span that if we watch videos like what I'm recording right now, that might be 2 hours long, it won't get as many views as something that quite simply is me shooting a machine gun for 5 seconds, right? Even though this conversation will have a lot more in-depth, conversation, it's not going to be as entertaining for most people that are just scrolling through and watching for 5 seconds, right? And then they just want to get on to the next thing. It's funny because some people say, I don't have time to watch an hour-long video, yet they're on social media and doing this for all hours of the day. So it's what you make time for, and YouTube knows that. All these different social media organizations, companies, they know that. So they're going to push what people fall into the trap of, which makes them money, right? So makes sense to me. Anyway, cool. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and let's get another one here. When are we going to? This is on Instagram. And the question is, when are we going to host a range day with followers? It's been talked about. All right. That is a lot of planning, preparation. And I would like to say something soon. You know what I'm saying? So when? I don't know. But I'm not going to say never. Right? Because it is definitely something that I've brought to the table. And there are a lot of people that said, that sounds like a really good idea. And then I'm like, I don't have the time to plan this. Right? I'm one of those guys that's scrolling on my phone for multiple hours of a day because it's kind of my job, actually. But no, it's like, oh man, I would love to do something like that, and especially engage with all of you guys. But there's so many different organizations, companies, manufacturers, events that take place that allow us to kind of already do that. I mean, we look at Clash Bash, right? Look at the Gundies that happens, stuff that's more open to the public, of course, like the All-American Machine Gun Shoot that our friend Rachel put on earlier. Was that this year? Or was that last year? I don't even remember anymore. But anyway, so it's kind of like, we will, we'll get there. We'll get there. Don't worry. So let's stay tuned. All right. There you go. Another good advocacy group, American Firearms Association, has been doing great Second Amendment voicing in DC as well as here in Raleigh, which is super cool. Raleigh is the state capital of North Carolina. All right. So there you go. This is kind of a funny comment. 1v1, Garrett said 1v1 me on COD for your job at Classic. Well, that would be a really dumb thing for me to do because statistically you are better than me at COD, especially since I uninstalled not too long ago and I'm playing Red Dead Redemption again. So anyway, wait, hold on. Right? I had to fit the look. You know what I mean? Anybody else like to dress up while they're playing their favorite video game? Just me? Okay. All right. Anyway, cool. Continuing on, wearing the hat that you guys are used to seeing me in. Let's see here. Continuing on, what was another Instagram question? What is my favorite brand of sunglasses? I'm actually a really big fan of the Magpul sunglasses. We've got them on our website. They're they're ANSI rated. And I'm always picking up a gun and just shooting it, so it's kind of, well, safely. So if you're looking for, eye protection, take a look at the Magpul glasses. Oakley obviously just makes a whole line of different styles and everything. But also, if I'm just kind of out and about, I really like Ray-Ban. I'm a Ray-Ban guy, especially the Ray-Ban stories that I have that give me the first person point of view while shooting, or give you that. They record, they have video, they have cameras, and not in the lenses, but just north of the lenses. They have a still image and also a video image that records in 1080p. Those are pretty cool, and they also sound really good. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, magdump_Morgan, one of my pinned, what the hell's I'm trying to say? One of my pinned posts. This is how bad I am at social media, which is kind of my job, which is ironic. One of my pinned posts is of me shooting a full auto out of a helicopter at the Gundies onto a couple of still targets. You can't really see the still targets, but you can definitely hear the impact occasionally when I actually hit it. But it is a really cool perspective that you guys get to kind of see while, sitting at home. You get to see what it's like to shoot out of a helicopter with a, full auto AR. It's pretty cool. So anyway, oh man. Let's see here. Got another one on Instagram. How do I feel about a loadout video for personal carry, home defense, and truck guns? I feel really good about that. I'm sure we've done something along those lines, but I'm thinking about doing something a little bit more like that here coming up soon, and I think would be pretty fun. So, as far as like personal carry, we've done a lot of everyday carry videos, concealed carry videos, things like that. You can find all of our gear and stuff. Just type in Classic Firearms, EEC, CCW. We recently had Sarah at the Peace of Mind _ on, and we talked about hers as well. Home defense, I'd be happy to show you the Mark 18 with the Surefire RC2 that I have sitting right here next to me that I'm not allowed to pick up because of live streaming. I also did build a 300 blackout upper receiver for my Mark 18 that I do have a Huxworks on, and another 300 blackout dedicated EOTech, and a PEC 15 because I'm extra like that, and also one of the Surefire white light and IR lights, because who knows, maybe I'll have time to put on my, my ballistic helmet that has my night vision on it and clear the house or the property or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, so I do have a 300 blackout upper for my Mark 18 if you guys want to know what my home defense is. But I also have an AP5 with a binary trigger on it with a Huxworks Cash 9 silencer that stays right beside the bed too. So, and my FNX 45 tactical unsuppressed in case I want to, home defense loudly, I guess. So there's all sorts of different things out there, obviously. Okay. And then truck gun. It depends geographically where I'm at. If I know that I'm going to be deep in the woods somewhere, I'll probably actually have my Henry 4570 lever gun with me. Never know what you might come up with, but right next to it, I might have my Mark 12, right? Again, it just depends. And I've got two of the Grayman Tactical Molly panel systems on the back of my front seats. And yeah, one is loaded out for big game 4570 stuff, and then the other one's loaded out for more, compact things that a 5.56 could handle, like a criminal. So, there you go. All right. Got another super chat here. Appreciate you. And again, you guys and your constant support. I mean, it's awesome. You guys are freaking awesome. So thank you guys. Going off of Grantham's tweet yesterday, second down from the AUG. What's your thoughts on it? I agree with it. Also, you think we will be in a shit hits the fan scenario within the next 10 years? I'll be honest with you guys. The next 10 years, I mean, even tomorrow isn't guaranteed, right? But the next 10 years, that's a long time to kind of like look ahead when we've got so many things happening today. So many things that happened yesterday. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, do I think we'll be in a scenario? Perhaps. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But the way I kind of like to look at it is I think we might be in a scenario as soon as tomorrow, right? So are you prepared, to handle whatever that scenario is? If it shit hits the fan, well, your shit hits the fan scenario might not be the same for me, right? For somebody who might just be, I mean, a whole lot of different things come to mind, right? I was in a pretty bad wreck recently. That was shit hits the fan for me, right? It wasn't in my car, which also I feel kind of bad about, but also I'm kind of like, hey, that's my Toyota, my 4Runner safe. But my buddy's Jeep is probably totaled. So there's that. And that's just because somebody pulled out in front of me. And all I had, thankfully, was just a bruise on my right through here where my seatbelt was, So yeah, that kind of sucked a lot, especially since I was doing about 45, 50 miles per hour and the guy decided to turn left in front of me coming the opposite direction. And there's no time to, he about missed his turn. What can I say? So yeah, that really freaking sucked. That was shit hits the fan for me, right? In that very, very moment. Other people's shit hits the fan is, hey, the grocery stores are done. There's no more fresh food. McDonald's is closed. People are going house to house and raiding for supplies, for food, for guns, for ammo, for whatever it might be just to provide for their family. And that's because those people didn't prepare, because we live in a society, as I have mentioned before, we live in a society that is so dependent on government and for so many other people to provide for you that it's pretty fucking sad, actually. So grow a garden, get some livestock. And I'm not talking, having to spend thousands of dollars on cows. It's amazing what 2 goats could provide. 2 goats and a couple of chickens. Just saying, right? So build yourself a coop. I don't care if you're, and if you're really like, well, dude, I live in an apartment in a big city. Well, that's, you messed up. I feel for you. I really do, because everybody's situation is different, right? So your shit hits the fan is going to differ from mine. If we're just saying tomorrow we're going through Great Depression, it's Black Tuesday 2.0, right? Banks are done. Which again, it could very well turn out to be that way. Do you keep all of your money in the bank? Have you invested in precious metals? Have you found other valuable resources that you might be able to trade and bargain with your community with? Again, all that comes down to actually being self-sufficient and taking care of yourself, right? So anyway, as far as a shit hits the fan scenario within the next 10 years, in 2008, I remember my parents saying this was a shit hit the fan scenario whenever the housing market crashed, right? There were people that were foreclosing on homes. There was a lot of issues, and the economy really took a big hit back then. And then you see how we bounced back from that over, look at 10 years, right? From 2008, look at 2018. Honestly, we were kind of doing all right, Let's look at gas prices. Now look at us in 2023. We're, my God, $3.30, depending on where you're living. I know that's kind of cheap for a lot of the country, but $3.30 is about the average of what I see. And it's like, dude, this is ridiculous. What happened to that $1.90? Where'd that $2 gas go, right? And so a lot of policies that are implemented and a lot of higher taxes that are implemented, not directly. A lot of people say, oh, hey, look at that. I'm not paying so much for this anymore. You're going to pay for it somewhere else, right? So anyway, shit hits the fan scenario within the next 10 years. Let me just actually read Garantham's tweet, and let's all have a conversation about it. You pretty much heard my spiel, right? So let's take a look at Garantham. I know I follow him, or at least I thought I did. Yeah, there we go. So right underneath Yog, what is it though? Why is it when rich and powerful people are investigated, they are always a part of some type of degeneracy? That's very interesting. What are some of the comments on that? Because that's a pretty oopsie, we accidentally worshipped an effigy of Satan. That's fair. If we aren't precise in our language, we are nothing. Yeah, okay, I see what you mean. It's like the movie The Firm, because they're bored and that's it. Yeah, this is a pretty interesting tweet. So yeah, you guys hop up in there, see what you think, right? But anyway, let me know what you guys think about my little rant. It is what it is. I see what you guys are talking about. Gas prices. Good. Yep, I see you. Facts. Store will run out. Becoming self-sufficient is the way. Yeah, becoming self-sufficient, I think, is the way. $4.80 regular in California from Costco. $4.80 Washington State. Yikes. Become a manufacturer of durable goods. There you go. Yep, joining late. Mississippi here. Love the chat format. Thanks, Clint. Classic Farms. Thank you. Appreciate that. MJT 7135. I see you. Don't just store food and water, but buy the tools to create food and water, guns and water filtration. Be ready to live on the move. That's good, especially again, if you're in these bigger populated areas. One thing that, we've been taught throughout history are those who stay put are typically those that don't last, right? Being mobile is definitely a good thing. However, depending on where you live, if you live on several acres out in the middle of nowhere, if you've got a water source, you've got food, you've got, again, not just storing this, but able to create, like what our buddy Juno, oh my God, Juno to Summit. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. This stuff makes sense, right? Get yourself a couple chickens. You can have eggs for breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. You might get bored of it, but at least you'll be fed. And then if you have a water source nearby, whether that be a stream, river, pond, lake, whatever it might be, that's great. You can always collect water and filter it when you get home. You can filter it at the site. You can do whatever you got to do, right? There's all sorts of different things out there. Follow our buddy Such. He's got his, his prepper Instagram. And I can't remember off the top of my head right now. So you guys, if you remember it, let us know down below. All right. Anyway, so by the way, I'm looking at Alan at Clint. Did I look into that competition? Was that Lynx? I forgot what it's called. It was something Lynx, right? Lynx Brutality. That's what it was. Was that the one that you were talking about? Clint, did you look into that competition I asked about last week with Polnar, and that puts way off topic, but fuck it. Yeah. Hey, it's all good. That's actually part of, getting prepared and, becoming self-sustainable is actually, there's got to be some sort of level of fitness too. I've been slacking recently because of some, personal things happening in my life, and I need to get back into it pretty greatly. I'm working on building a home gym actually, as we're speaking. But anyway, get out there and train and practice. Now, I will not be making it to Lynx Brutality this year. It's what, in about like 12 days or something like that. And all the way in Slovenia, I'm not going to make it. All right. But perhaps next year, maybe, if Classic Firearms is willing to sponsor me, I'm really going to have to bulk up and, get my cardio back in shape and everything, and also shoot better. But yeah, there you go. Anyway, let's see here. Good question. Man, Lee is coming in with a good question here. Out of the two, what has a better eye box, the Swamp Fox Tomahawk or the SIG MSR Tango? I can tell you my experiences with the Swamp Fox Tomahawk, and that's that they are very favorable for an affordable optic. LPVO, you're looking at something that has a pretty forgiving eye box. You're not looking at something you have to be right up on. Ask Kaya about that with the little scope eye that he had right there, about what an EOTech magnifier will do to you if you're hugging that sight. And sometimes you have to, because, well, that eye relief is so short on those magnifiers and things like that. You know what I mean? But anyway, hold up, because I see we've got another super chat in here that I want to thank Legacy Productions for. It's always good to see you, man. Hope all is well at Classic. It is. Could we be seeing a Winkler Knives R&D Tomahawk and 365X macro in honor of Jack Carr's new book coming out soon? I am behind on Jack Carr's latest. Is that Into the Blood? Something like that? And then he's got another one coming out, right? For those of you that don't know, Jack Carr is a Navy SEAL. And he is one responsible for writing the Terminalist books with the main character, James Reese, who Chris Pratt has played the live action of, and I thought did very, very well. Really like that series. That is one that is a lot of fun to watch. And it's all about, it's all about special operators and one guy essentially trying to seek vengeance on people responsible for the death of his team. Let's look at it that way. All right. So anyway, as far as, if you're wanting to see it, you can always see that stuff, right? As far as what you might be seeing at Classic, maybe, I think doing something like that, doing like a James Reese giveaway. I'll have to hit up Jack Carr though and make sure he's cool with that, so we don't get any type of patent or trademark infringements or anything like that. So I meant to email Jack actually. I've got his publicist's email, and I think that would be pretty neat if we get him on the podcast and we talk and we maybe collaborate on something that you can find at CF contests. You know what I mean? I think that'd be super cool. So yeah, just stay tuned. All right. Anyway, thank you, Cyan Zero, for the $5 super chat. Appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. Awesome is what I'm trying to say. Goodness. Let's see here. This is a pretty good question too, talking about another shit hits the fan situation. Another interesting subject is how sheriffs will react to other law enforcement in an Armageddon scenario. Who in law enforcement will stand with each side? That is, that's pretty interesting. I know personally quite a few, law enforcement officers. And if you guys heard me and Mr. Guns and Gear, our podcast that we had at the NRA and you'll meet not too long ago, we get onto that some. So check that one out on CF Podcast and on YouTube, and let us know what you think about that down in the comment section. But anyway, Night Custom Builds, I see y'all. Stay safe. Keep shooting. I got to roll. Check you next time, man. I'll be back around this time next Monday. All right. But anyway, who in law enforcement will stand with each side? There's a lot of oath keepers out there that I think are actually going to stand up and do the right thing. But I also believe that there might be a lot more, personally, that are going to look at it as, hey, I've got mouths to feed, a family to support, and I don't want to lose my job. I'm just following orders because that's the easier thing to do, right? So, I don't trust it. So, best thing I can say is, hey, make friends with some of those law enforcement officers. In your community, especially if you're in a smaller town, go say hey, right? Go say hey, and then start to get an understanding of how they feel politically in that type of situation. Just, have a conversation. If they've got the time, bring them maybe not a box of donuts, because I feel like that's way too cliche, but maybe some coffee, and just say, hey, appreciate you guys keeping the community safe. How do you feel about this bill, by the way? How do you feel about our governor? How do you feel about, just, and if they're willing to talk to you, great, awesome. You get a feel for them. If they say, okay, great, thanks, go home, then all right, cool. You probably already get an idea of where they lie, right? They're there to protect and serve, and you should have an idea of what that means, right? Protecting and serving isn't knocking on my door with a 3-letter agency because they think I own something I shouldn't. It's not protecting and serving. What are they doing? Right. I have literally no criminal record other than a couple of speeding tickets. Right. What do you have? Right. Don't answer that. By the way, so even if I did have a record, I don't think it should matter per se. And that's a whole other conversation we can have. I'd like to hear from you guys about that, because I know some people would be like, well, I can't trust a felon. This felon, regardless of what his crime was, shouldn't be trusted with a firearm. Well, he shouldn't be trusted in the community. He or she. Do you understand what I'm saying? And again, this is another conversation that I think we could have. Thanks for the super chat here, J954. I'd love to see you interview Mike Glover. I'd like to interview Mike Glover myself, actually. And I'll just leave it at that. I would like to also. All right. Oh, man. Anyway, Cosmos 1970, thank you for the super chat. What do you think about Bear Creek side charging AR9 or AR15 uppers? I like side chargers. I really do. I think they're honestly a little bit more ergonomic. I don't have to take my head off of the stock so much to rack it, an AR if it's got a traditional charging handle, things like that. You can kind of do an open face towards your face or open hand palm towards the face on a side charger, i.e. FAL, Sig Spear, Scar 17, even things like that. You can still just more ergonomically rack the gun without having to contort your body uncomfortably. But as far as Bear Creeks go, I've known Bear Creek for, a long time. We've sold a lot of their barrels and upper receivers and things like that. Quality control has always been, about what you would expect for the company and everything. They make a decent product for the price, and it works. Talking to a few guys at Classic that own several BCAs because, hey man, we got a really good deal on them and I couldn't let it go. And I just wanted another AR-15 for the collection. All right, cool. I've shot it 2,000 or 3,000 times and it works. That's that's what a lot of people look for in that, you know? So, hey, what do I think about Bear Creek Arsenal in general? I think they make a good product. As far as the AR9 or AR15 side charging uppers, I don't actually have any experience with those, so I don't want to give you a bullshit opinion, but I can tell you my thoughts on BCA, which I just did. All right. So I hope that's fair enough for you. All right. Let's see. We've got another super chat down here from Legacy Productions. One of the bigger debates for Shit Hits the Fan is whether to bug in or bug out. Thoughts or preference for the two. Thank you for the contribution again, Legacy. Always appreciate it, man. And it's kind of like what I was going back to before. It depends on your living arrangement. Depends on your setup. If you've got a decent homestead, you've got fresh, clean water available to you that's renewable, not something that, not just bottles of water you've got packed up in your basement or anything like that. I'm talking about an actual water source, like a stream, a creek running in your backyard, stuff that you can literally just walk out to the backyard, fill up a couple of buckets, bring it inside. And if you have, a gas burner, you got a stove. I'm assuming at this point, electricity, anything that you've always had to rely on is gone. Right. So are you able to start a fire? Are you able to boil this water? Are you able to make sure that it's clean and drinkable? Little things like that. Are you able to filter it somehow? All of that kind of comes into play. So as far as bugging in goes, if that's your setup, your arrangement, you got that homestead going on, you've got a garden that's growing vegetables, you got trees that are producing some sort of fruit, you've got animals that are producing eggs and milk and whatever else you could use, bug in my mind, right? I can't take all that stuff with me, and I don't know if I'd be going to a location that's safe for a night. And then, there you go. You have that, right? And then if somebody wants to come and try to take what's yours, well, you take what's theirs. That's perhaps their life if they're willing to bargain that. So anyway, that's how I feel about that, right? And that's that. So thank you here, Fog, Battleship, Warspite, for the super chat. Clint, looking at getting either the P229 M11A1, nice, or the P229 Elite for first pistol. Any major difference that I should look for? Also, what would be a good indoor range kit? First thing, for an indoor range kit, really good ear pro. If you've ever been to an indoor range, most of us have, and most of us, we don't like it. I'll be honest with you. I don't like going to an indoor range. And granted, I'm spoiled. I know that. I'm really fortunate that I have, outdoor ranges available to me that I can just walk up on at any point in time, shoot magged up 50 cals, and then go home as if, that's just an everyday part of life, right? That's an awesome, awesome thing. So when it comes to an indoor range, you're dealing with, and also too, our range is, kind of closed, to the public in that sense. We have one, range area at Take Aim that is just only for classic. And it's because we're an insured business, things like that. That typically that their private or their members can't really shoot at. They've got the pistol bay, shotgun bay, and then the long distance rifle range that their members can shoot at, and then there's us in the middle there, which is again pretty cool, but we pay for that. So as far as an indoor range goes, oh man, good ear pro, if not multiple sets of ear pro. You're going to be looking at, obviously, Eye Pro. I've already talked a little bit about some of the glasses I like. Magpul. Oakley makes a really cool kit that has all the different, lenses you need. They've got a clear lens. They've got a sunglass lens. They're all ANSI rated. They're all going to protect your face and your eyeballs, or protect your eyeballs. They're not face masks. They're going to protect your eyeballs from anything that might happen, or from somebody else's, I don't know, getting some sort of fragmentation because some asshole, shot the wall and bounced. I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, as far as the M11A1 goes, or the 229 Elite, the only thing that I can really tell the difference between the two is perhaps a rail option, a beaver tail option, and then the A1 is going to probably have some sort of special coating on it. That special coating is going to be more corrosion resistant, things like that. Not to say that the Elite isn't. It's just that the A1 most likely will, right? So they use them. Again, nothing that, as far as I could tell, like a regular person would really need, but I'm also a really big fan of rails and things like that, right? So I would definitely want a railed pistol because I always like to have a weapon mounted light. That's just my source. Okay, that's my thing. So that's how I feel about that. You know, I'll let you make up your decision on that front. I don't know the price difference right off the top of my head, but you know, there you go. Thank you, Frank, by the way, Frank Hutton, for the $5 super chat, $4.99. Appreciate you guys. That does mean a lot to me and the team. We really do appreciate that. All right. Foxtrot Mike, JL. I don't know exactly if you're responding to somebody or something else like that, but yeah, Foxtrot Mike, they make a great product. They're really cool. I like them a lot too because they utilize a direct impingement gas system, but do not need a buffer tube. They have their own recoil assembly built into the upper receiver. So it doesn't, disassemble like your traditional AR-15 does because, well, there's no buffer, there's no buffer tube or anything like that. But that does allow you to put a side folding stock on it, a collapsible stock, brace, whatever you want to put on it. So I do like Foxtrot Mike quite a bit, and Paul over there is a great guy. So there you go. Yeah, going back to kind of what I was talking about before, Oatmeal in 1964, I think felons should be broken down by levels of the violence of their felony convictions. Okay. I don't disagree with that, I don't think, but I kind of look at it. I think my thinking of it is very practical and easy. If we determine that we can't allow this one individual, because of the crimes that he has committed in his past, to fully exercise his rights as a United States citizen, maybe he shouldn't be in the public. Right. And some people might disagree with that because it's like, oh, that's too harsh, keeping people incarcerated for too long or something. And it's like, well, it's, kind of their fault at the end of the day. I'm sorry. If somebody murdered and raped somebody, I don't think that person should ever come out of prison. They decided to take it upon themselves to essentially torture and end somebody else's life. I would never trust that person with a firearm. I don't think that person should ever get their rights that were granted to them at birth back. However, there are people that will serve 30, 40 years, be back in society, and then what? Now we say because of the crimes that this person has committed before that they shouldn't have guns or something like that because they might be violent. Well, why should they be back in public, right? I don't know, if people think like that or not. But me personally, I think a felon should actually have his Second Amendment rights granted back to him because there's a lot of people I know. I mean, we all went to high school. I went to high school in a big city that got busted because they had a bunch of marijuana on them that they planned on just smoking over the weekend at a party or something, right? And that person gets 2 years. Now they're a felon, and now they don't get to protect themselves with a firearm for the rest of their life. That's bullshit, right? I don't. Sorry, I don't agree with it. So that's how I feel about that. So yeah, I guess there are different levels of, violence of the felony conviction. Sure. So I don't know. That's how I feel about that. Let me know what you guys think down below. All right. My thoughts on the new SIG Romeo M17 pistol red dot. It's pretty freaking cool. It looks really neat. Got to see it at the NRA annual meet and had some fun kind of, playing with it there, but unfortunately wasn't able to take it to the range just yet and shoot it. So I don't know how, how easy it is to pick up a target, how easy it is to pick up that reticle when, getting back on target, things like that, right after a shot. So, again, this is something I'm gonna have to try and get my hands on to shoot. But that's it. All right. Oh, good question. Okay, so Mr. Shorts want to know, do I know why SIG did not add a side charger to the Spear LT? Space. I actually don't know why. I can give you some of my assumptions as to why, but that's about it. I think it's perhaps just space. By the way, is anybody here from Rumble? Is Rumble working on the live stream? I forgot to check, and we're over an hour in, and I don't think it's working. I don't know. I'm on it now, and it just says live, but I don't have like a video or anything happening here. Let me click on something and see if it works. I don't know. Waiting for stream. Let me refresh here. I don't know. It's first time we're trying Rumble out, so I was just kind of curious if it was working for anybody. And hey, we like Rumble because freedom of speech and stuff and things, right? So I'm clicking on go live, and I don't know if it's working or not, but I hope it is. Anyway. Oh, well, we'll try to figure that out next time. But that's that. Okay, cool. Anyway, all right, so hopping back to it, though. I see you guys there. It wasn't earlier. All right, cool. Maybe people should reconsider their actions if there are consequences. Yeah, there is that, too. I get everybody makes mistakes, things like that, too. And I like to consider myself kind of a forgiving person, but also it's kind of like, man, how many times are you going to do the same thing too? And well, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, maybe people would reconsider their actions if there are consequences. And that is a big thing. Yeah. Rumble is based, by the way. That's true. All right. Let me get here. I forgot to. I keep forgetting about the Instagram messages that came across also. So somebody asked too, if I wanted to turn an AR into an SBR, what is the best process to get started? What is it? Form 4 it, right? Isn't that the right one? If you have a rifle and you're going to SBR, there's so many different forms and everything. Personally, you just take a short barreled upper receiver and you throw it on your lower and you call it a day, right? However, that's not how easy it is, because that would technically be a felony, even though it shouldn't be. Again, National Firearms Act is a load of shit, as is the ATF. So I believe it's a Form 4 ATF that you submit an application to taxpayer transfer registration of a firearm. And then once you get the approval, then bam, Form 1. Sorry, I think it's a Form 1. Yep, I see you guys. Form 1 is the manufacturer and SBR, SBS. Oh, okay. Just seeing what you guys are saying. Yep. Form 1. Okay. Either way, if you want to go about it legally, you can also just contact the ATF, which, again, probably not the most logical thing to do, because you're pretty much just, telegraphing, hey, I want to do this. And so there's that, right? But anyway, I thought it was Form 4, though. I don't know, but I'm seeing you guys down here. Form 4 is to transfer. Form 4 is for suppressing. I thought, all right, so Form 3 is to transfer from one FF or one SOT to the other. I know that much, right? Form 1 is the manufacturer and SBR or short-barreled shotgun. Okay, so Form 1, once you get it back and approved, you can then take that shorty upper and throw it on your lower, because now it's a SBR, right? And it falls under all SBR rules and regulations. So if you wanted to travel out of state with that, you have to submit your 5370.20, 5320.20. Dude, there's so many different forms. It's ridiculous. God knows, I swear. All this just to try to exercise your right. 5320.20, that's your application to transport interstate. If you just wanted to go to a range, let's say you live in North Carolina, want to go to a range down in South Carolina and shoot your short-barreled rifle, well, you have to you got to fill out that application to transport interstate, that 5320.20 form. Honestly, with how everything is right now, it would actually just be easier just to get an AR pistol, right? However, I understand too that the brace thing and all that legislation and bullshit is playing into effect as well with that. So I don't know. We'll just have to kind of see what happens there. All right. Ryan, I am getting to you. I saw you somewhere in here. Wait. There it is. All right. Gotcha. Hey, I think if you are still on probation, you should be limited due to the fact that a large percentage of felons recommit and end up back in jail. But after a year or two, they should get full rights. Yeah, probation could be a compromise on that sense, right? Like, hey, you're on probation, like you screw up again. That's that, right? Yeah, I can see that as a compromise, from my stance. And I think I'd be willing to allow that if it were all up to me, right? I think that would be something I could see. So, but anyway, yeah. So thank you, Ryan, so much for the $10 super chat too. Again, really, really appreciate that. Slim Thugs wants to know if I like the Platypus 1911, and I do. The Platypus, it's a different design. It's by Stealth Arms, and it utilizes it's ultimately a 2011 that utilizes Glock magazines, which are more reliable than actual 2011 magazines, which is funny. But it is a really unique design, and I think I still have their card. So anyway, I'm going to be reaching out to Stealth Arms because I kind of want one, and I want to run the hell out of it and see how it performs, see how it shoots, see if it's reliable, see how it works, right? So I think that'd be pretty cool. All right. But anyway, Gabe, first of all, Gabe, I just want to let you know, thank you so much for your support and everything else. But I'm not a lawyer, but I will answer this question. Clint, I am a follower and I am begging you to read this. You don't need to beg me, you can just put it in the chat. And if I see it, great. If you want to throw $1 my way too, that's cool too. But hey, I'm not asking. But yeah, it's easier to see the super chats. I'll be honest; they come up highlighted. I see them pop up, things like that. So there is that, right? But there is a question too that I scroll across and I see as we're going through. And if you guys repeat some questions, I might be able to see them, things like that too. But hey, appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching and everything like that. But anyway, what Gabe is asking is if he can carry his Glock in between his seat and center console in Virginia open carry seat without a permit, or that be concealed carry. It honestly depends on how the officer sees it. If he pulls you over and he cannot see that firearm and you have not made it a clear indication that you have a firearm, he could take that as you carrying concealed, and now all of a sudden you are unlawfully carrying a concealed pistol, right? Or if he's pretty cool about it, he'll tell you what I've been told most of the time: you leave yours where it is and I'll leave mine where mine is, right? That's what I typically hear when a cop pulls me over. Yes, I'm a little heavy on the pedal sometimes, and I get pulled over for speeding. It's typically, you keep yours where yours is, I'll keep mine where mine is. We'll have a good day. Well, at least he'll have a good day. I might not if I'm getting a ticket. So anyway, it depends on how the officer will view that. Now, by law, is it in a concealed compartment? No. Is it tucked away inside your pants? No. Is it concealed in your glove box? No. So therefore, one could argue that, hey, I'm not concealing this. I just have it right here. I do know that there was a law, at least when I was carrying a pistol before I was the age of 21, which was legal to do in North Carolina. And I was in a vehicle that gun pretty much had to have a seat of its own. So if I was the driver, the passenger seat is the seat in which the gun belonged. And I remember at one point being pulled over, and I had, this is me being, 19, right? I had a Kimber that was gifted to me and a revolver. And of course I had both of them on me because why wouldn't I? And they were both in the passenger seat, and the officer came around and he put them up on the dash, wrote me a ticket, and sent me on my way. Okay, great. Have a nice day. So I don't know. It is what it is. I wasn't too comfortable with him grabbing my loaded firearms and putting them on my dash, but I guess in that situation, it doesn't matter what I'm comfortable with, as long as, I'm not getting shot at or arrested. So, there you have that. So again, it really does depend on the officer that you get and how willing they are to screw with you, right? If they're just having a really bad day and want to say, hey, I'm going to make this guy miserable, then yeah, you know what? I'm going to charge him for unlawful concealing of a firearm or whatever it is. So there you got that, right? But anyway, so take that for what you will. And that's that. All right. So I'm seeing here another one. I've got another super chat. Appreciate it. J95, Jane. Wow. J954, appreciate you, man. Are you familiar with what happened to Matt Hoover? I am not familiar with what happened to Matt Hoover, so let's do a quick search and let's see what happened to Matt Hoover, convicted of multiple felonies for saying words. Interesting. Orange Park firearms probe leads to machine gun charges. Matthew Hoover, Wisconsin gun dealer who talked about Orange Park resident. Prosecutor charged Clay County man. Is this what you're talking about? Matt Hoover. Wait a minute. He looks very familiar. Orange Park firearms probe leads to machine gun charges against Wisconsin YouTube celeb. Well, that's interesting. Prosecutors who last year charged a Clay County man with selling illegal machine gun conversion devices are now also going to court against a Wisconsin gun dealer who raised money for his defense. A new federal indictment accuses Christopher Justin Irvin of Orange Park and Matthew R. Hoover of Colma, Wisconsin, of conspiring to illegally distribute unregistered conversion equipment, which the indictment equates with distributing machine guns. Oh, okay. So I guess I just didn't know that was his name. Screen grab Irvin. What was his Jay Irvin's auto key card in a popular YouTube channel? Interesting. Yeah, but yeah, I've definitely seen that guy around. The list of charges from a federal grand jury in Jacksonville replaces one filed last spring against Irvin alone, detailing new claims from investigators, probe of his online sale of credit card-sized metal strips under the product name Auto Key Card. I am familiar with the Auto Key Card. No, I have not ever tried one. But interesting. So now I'm somewhat 17 count indictment. Wow. Man, that sucks. All for essentially a piece of metal. That's such bullshit. Well, anyway, so as far as if I'm familiar with what happened to Matt Hoover, vaguely a little bit now. So let's no, that's another one that we can discuss a little bit later, I guess, right? So anyway, man, yo, Clint, hope you're doing well. It's been a while. The Josie, I see you. Yes, sir. Good to see you, man. Josie and I used to work in law enforcement together. So, hey, good to see you, dude. Thank you. Hope you're doing all right, man. And convicted. So we're talking about Matt Hoover again, convicted for 45 years. Original guy got 110. Yeah, that really sucks. 45 years. Wow. Yeah, that is something I'm going to have to look up for now and see quite a bit. All right. Peasy's over here asking about best outdoor shooting targets. Again, I got those TA targets that I like a lot. The Infinity targets by ID Target. They're really good too. Also like them. So that's funny, Rusty Shackelford. First of all, the ATF couldn't get them to function as a lightning link without significant altercation, but yet they still managed to do it and therefore able to charge Matt and his buddy there. What was the other guy's name? Irvin something. Christopher. Yeah. Well, stay safe out there, guys. But anyway, you can help Matt by going to Shop Only Tactical Fans or send to /free CRS. His wife and family need our help. Yeah, I can imagine. That really sucks. Anyway, let's see. Who could you reference that has the most nuanced anti-gun stance, or any people that are anti-gun that have fair points, even if you may disagree? So, I'll be honest with you. I have yet to hear any anti-gun stance that has fair points, because it all comes back down to limiting rights. A lot of people, I've heard somebody on the radio, I was listening to, Sirius XM 125, or actually, I don't even think it was that one. I was listening. No, it was actually just a talk show. Sorry, it was regular FM radio. I was in an Uber recently, and the guy had it up. I just said Sirius XM because that's what I'm always listening to. And there's a lot of incorrect stuff there being said about guns all the time too, which blows my mind because that's supposed to be the conservative news channel, right? So anyway, I heard something to the effect of make the bullets more expensive. Make it so expensive. Why should people own 1,000 rounds of ammunition? Make it so expensive. Like, make it like $10 a bullet, something like that. As I look in that general direction and I see ammo can on top of ammo can on top of ammo can, I'm like, wow. So you'd be willing to pretty much put out of business a lot of businesses because they wouldn't be able to afford to move the product, in which they have. You'd also be willing to make it so difficult for those that are not rich to be able to protect themselves. Doesn't make sense to me. Ammunition's already expensive, if you ask me, too expensive. And so that was one argument that I heard. Make the ammo more expensive. Make it an insanely high tax, because then we could use that to help solve the tax problem, help solve the deficit that we have. And there's no way you can tax the American population out of the deficit that we have right now. Sooner or later, you're going to run out of other people's money. We've all heard that before, right? So I've heard tax it, make it so expensive, do this, do that. That's what they did at the National Firearms Act back in the 1930s. They put a $200 tax on the guns that the criminals were ultimately making without paying the tax. Because why? They're criminals who are breaking the law and utilizing the same guns that they just outlawed to try to commit these crimes that were ultimately leading into police officers' death. Taxing things and making things illegal doesn't fucking work. Look at the war on drugs. Sorry, that one kind of pissed me off. But anyway, I rile myself up sometimes. Anytime the government gets involved, it doesn't work. I mean, honestly, when was the last time the government was a part of anything that actually worked really well? So anyway, I might be getting a little too heated now. I need to calm down a little bit, all right? But with all that being said, I have not been confronted with an anti-gun stance that actually has fair points, because I am confident enough to say that I could easily debate and squash whatever those points might be. Right. So, there's, again, the ones that I keep hearing the most, there's so much ignorance around it. That's the other problem. You've got a lot of people that are anti-gun that aren't willing to actually learn about said gun. So therefore, they're going to start calling it different things that might make it seem scary to appeal to those that don't also know enough, that just say, oh, yeah, you know what? Assault weapons don't belong on the street. And I guarantee you, how many of you actually own, again, don't answer this question, how many of you actually own assault weapons, right? What is an assault weapon? To begin with, assault rifles, they do exist. They do exist. Absolutely. Right. They're select fire, intermediate cartridge. That's the definition. Okay. Typically a little bit lighter weight. An AK-47, a true AK-47 with full auto capability is considered an assault rifle. The Sturmgewehr translates assault rifle. The STG-44 was the world's first assault rifle. The M4, it's technically an assault rifle, right? The full auto variant, things like that. Well, the M4 is full auto or 3-round burst, select fire. Okay. But it's all these different terms that are being used incorrectly, because some people will say, well, assault rifle doesn't exist. That's just a made up term. That's just a scary term made up by the left. That's incorrect. It even comes from our side, right? That's incorrect. Assault rifles do exist. Assault weapons, however, I could slap somebody with my cell phone, and I have now used this to assault somebody, and this has become a weapon, right? The Marine Corps has a famous quote when it comes to our martial arts program: one mind, any weapon. I could use this coffee mug, and this is a clay mug, and if I were to take this and punch somebody with it or slap it across somebody's face, that would hurt. I could take this scope that probably hasn't been released just yet, sorry, Swamp Fox, and hit somebody with it, and that would hurt. This has been utilized as a weapon. More people are killed with hammers and fists each year than they are with what other people consider assault weapons, such as an AR-15, right? Again, there's so many different anti-gun, anti-AR, anti-2A points that are made that actually don't make any sense, right? And that's just because a lot of people are ignorant as to what they're talking about. They just want to, get some sort of like hot take on something. And again, it just doesn't make sense. All right. So who could I reference. I know that was a long answer to that question, so thank you, Jackson, for that. Maybe not thanks to everybody else because they hear me ramble, but who could I reference that has the most nuanced anti-gun stance, or any people that are anti-gun that have fair points, even if you may disagree? Nope. It would be people on the right, if I'm being completely honest with you, because I expect it from the people on the left. I expect people that actually don't know, or, I expect it from people that actually just want to do away with the citizens' right to keep and bear arms, right? The people's right to keep and bear arms. I expect that. But when it comes down to conservative representatives, things like that, that just talk out their ass, that want to say like, oh yeah, national can still carry reciprocity. Absolutely. But some might also say, but we also need a 10-round magazine ban or capacity restriction. So there you go. Anyway, I'll be honest with you. Maybe a couple of you down in the comment section could help Jackson out here. But I will say this, though. There are in Eric Pratt's book, that's he's part of Gun Owners America. It's called Firing Back. I recommend this book a lot. This is something, how to counter anti-gun propaganda and become a better 2A activist. And he gets really into some of a lot of the talking points that are very popular when it comes to anti-gun, so, and then he also cites all sorts of different sources. If stats are mentioned, things like that, there's actual cites at the end of the chapter every time something like that is mentioned. There's all your sources, right? So Firing Back is the name of the book from Eric Pratt. He's one of the VPs over there at Gun Owners of America. So if you're looking for that anti-gun rhetoric and maybe perhaps how to respond to it, take a look at that book. All right. Anyway, not a problem. DLD After Dark. Yeah, thank you absolutely again for the support. Legacy Productions. I'll see you in here again, man. Thank you. 2 for 1. Do you know any good 6mm RKRs, and would Classic consider working with Warrior Poet Society and putting your videos on their network like Grand Thumb? Would we consider it? Yeah, absolutely. We just need to get talking to John Lovell some, and you guys remember Jared Monroe? He and I might be talking some a little bit, and so just stay tuned. All right, stay tuned there. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, free Matt Hoover again. I don't see, again, having not read up on all the charges and everything else. Oh, John Crump. I know John. I see him in this article. This is really a travesty of justice, and it shows that tyranny is alive and well and in the country. John Crump, a self-described firearms journalist in Virginia who also posts on YouTube. I love John. John's awesome. And if that's his thoughts on it, then I trust John and I will agree with him. And this is going back to Matt Hoover and all of that, and talking about what happened to him. So if John Crump is saying that this is really a travesty of justice and it shows that tyranny is alive and well in this country, then all right. I like I said, I trust him. Of course, I'm going to read up more on what happened and what happened with the auto key card and all that stuff too. So anyway, all I do is over penetrate. God damn it. All right, let's read your comment here. The most anti-gun thing I've heard that I agree with would be to restrict the ATF and not abolish it, because the FBI would take their place and have unlimited funding and reasons to infringe on rights. My answer to that is abolish the FBI too. Sorry, Kaya. I fucking said it. All right. I do believe that there's a lot of good that might come out of some of these agencies, but I also believe that a lot of it's used for bad. And I'm talking about we're there's a lot of things that have come to light that really shows that these agencies are being utilized against the people, right? So when you've got, again, this is why, people have such a hard time trusting these things, right? It's kind of like, wow, okay, if I set this down, is it really off? And I've been told by 3-letter agency people, just because you turn your phone off doesn't mean it's off. It's still listening. Okay. Test it, right? We all see it. We all see it. It happens every time on Facebook or Instagram. You start getting ads for things you've talked about. Turn your phone off and start talking about something completely irrelevant to what you've ever talked about before. Then go onto one of those social media apps and see what ads you get. If companies that are not federal agencies are able to do that with the technology you carry in your pocket every day, imagine what these companies are that have unlimited access to God knows what type of technology. I don't trust any of them. Sorry, I don't. So, again, restrict the ATF and not abolish it. No, abolish the ATF. Absolutely. Get rid of them. While you're at it, throw in the IRS and the FBI as well. Sorry, not sorry. I don't know. Is that too far? You guys let me know. Honestly, I won't care. That's just my opinion. So, anyway, let's see here. I'm seeing a couple of guys want to find. Again, it's hard to kind of keep up with some of the comments here, but I am taking a look at it. It's funny you should ask this, by the way, BB Beast. My thoughts on Bosnian ammo, Igman, because we actually just shot quite a bit of it recently, and it shot really, really well. Have not tested it to great distances or anything like that. So, there you go. But anyway, I think it's pretty good ammo. Didn't blow up on us. Worked well. Cycled well. Not mad about it. But I have not tested it for accuracy or anything like that. Okay. Patriot Act. Yeah, back to what we were talking about before. Look at the Patriot Act. Term limits. Yep, it's pretty wild when people have salaries of $80,000 a year that somehow become multimillionaires and spend 30 to 40 years in politics. Pretty interesting. Okay. Yeah, they all have a sketchy history. Let's be honest. I mean, there's a lot of things. No, I get it. Nobody's perfect. But at the same time, that's it. Going back to the Matt Hoover and auto key card thing, essentially he asked his local ATF agency if it was okay for him to advertise auto key card. They said yes. He advertised it, then they said no, and now he's facing 45 years. If that is the Cliff's Notes of ultimately what happened, then this is kind of why I said, hey, maybe don't contact the ATF and ask for permission. Even if they give it to you, as we see with the pistol braces, they're likely to go back on the word. As we've seen with force reset triggers, the wide open triggers, whatever, they're likely to go back on what they said. And now, even though you got permission to before from that same federal agency, they're now making you a felon overnight with the change of an opinion. They're not a lawmaking agency. There isn't such a thing. Congress makes laws. Law enforcement enforces those laws, right? Unjust laws do exist, right? Anti-constitutional laws, they somehow pass. Again, look at the National Firearms Act, look at the Gun Control Act. I'm sure there's plenty others that aren't even related to firearms, okay? So for the ATF to say, hey, yeah, you can advertise that, and then an individual does, and then the ATF says, actually, no, you can't, but since you did, we're now going to charge you. Yeah, that's pretty jacked up. So again, why the ATF is a tyrannical force that should be dealt with. Anyway, let's see here. Yep, Steve, appreciate you coming in. Thank you guys so much for hopping on this and all of that stuff. So this is another good question that Matt D is asking. Will force reset triggers put you on the ATF list? If you purchased one in the past, yes. Because we're starting to see that now. I don't know if you guys saw that recently on Instagram. Moonlight Industries came about. The ATF came knocking on Moonlight Industries' door. The Moonlight Industry makes they make accessories and different things for special operations forces. Okay, this isn't some no-name operation. Moonlight Industries is legit, and the ATF came knocking on his door and said, "Hey, we have evidence or reason to believe that you have purchased or own force reset triggers, and we're here to collect them. And he said no. He pretty much said, without quoting, will not confirm, will not deny, please leave. Okay. And they pretty much said, well, you realize that by being in possession of this, you are breaking the law. And he said, did the ATF, create a law? Did Congress pass a law that said that this was an illegal item to be banned? No. Okay. He did a really good job at countering these two ATF agents. And by the way, the female agent that's asking most of the questions, was she wearing... If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you need to find it, because it looked to me as if she was wearing a steel gong metal target as body armor. And guys, maybe they have defunded the ATF if that's the type of body armor they're issuing out. So that's pretty interesting. And then there's some guy over there that's, in shape looking dude, Oakley's, they got bulletproof vests on, I guess. And, he's tatted up, looks like a traditional, bro vet kind of guy. Right. And, perhaps he and I could be friends. Maybe he's a gun guy and all that type of stuff. He's just doing a job, right? Well, he's still a tyrant. And because these guys are coming to Moonlight Industries' door to try to confiscate a legally purchased item that the ATF is now deeming a machine gun. So will a forced reset trigger put you on an ATF list if you've purchased one in the past? And it's not so much companies giving up your information, it's the courier. UPS, FedEx, whomever, I'm not citing any of these specifically, but I think it was UPS, actually said, or didn't say anything, but did actually provide, hey, we delivered from Rare Breed triggers to these locations. You can assume what was in that package, right? So if it's not so much, retailers or different businesses providing who bought what, as it is couriers providing, we shipped from here to there, you can assume what was in that package, right? Credit card companies. Hey, we see on this statement that a purchase was made from this company that's selling an item that's now outlawed by an agency. Again, funny terminology there. So here you go, ATF. This guy bought so many, had so many purchases from this company. Here you go. Again, what you consider to be private information, it's not private, ladies and gentlemen. So careful with what you do out there. Believe me, I'm finding that out too. Let's see here. I see another super chat. Thank you, Simon Sandoval. Appreciate it. Hi from Illinois. Hard times for 2A rights. No kidding. The government's willing ignorance and reputed incompetency is a sad part. P.S. These types of streams talks are great. Well, appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in and everything. I hope you all are enjoying it. Honestly, it's kind of me, a little after dark. It's only about 7:45 where I'm at right now, East Coast. And so, it's you're getting me a little unfiltered, things like that. You're getting pretty much, how I feel about a lot of different things. And some people might agree, some people might disagree. And at the end of it all, that's a beautiful thing about this country, is that, hey, you and I can have a difference of opinion, and we can talk. We can say, screw it. Don't want to talk to you. Don't want to watch you. Don't want to support you. That's completely fine. You do what you want to do. But at the end of the day, we do live in a country that still allows this. We look at other countries in the world that, women are getting beaten and stoned to death because they're showing their face. Or, we see, in the UK, some people are getting arrested for a tweet, right? They don't have a First Amendment over there, right? What happened to the Magna Carta, whatever the hell, so anyway, oh man. So Yeah, buy only with cash, use aliases. They're trying to get rid of cash anyway. You know, Rusty Shackelford, that is such a fitting name for your comments. I just want to say that out there. That is absolutely hilarious. I see the irony and the humor in your comment from your handle, and I absolutely love it. All right. Anyway, I see a couple more super chats coming in, so I'm going to get to you guys really quick, and I really appreciate it. Again, that just means the world to me and the team to keep this kind of going, right? So, Pedro Platinum, $5. Thank you so much. Do you believe the idea that there is a gun violence epidemic in America more or less a myth? Fan from North Carolina. I appreciate it. I don't think we have a gun violence epidemic. I think what we have is an actual crime epidemic. We have a societal issue at hand. We have pretty much a whole lack of the value of life. We have an entire idea and a society building kids. I mean, you see kids bringing guns to school, and recently, a little boy, like 6, brought a gun to school to shoot his teacher because she told him something. I don't remember exactly what it was or where that article is. I want to keep that article about Matt Hoover up because I want to get back to that a little bit later. I thought it was a 6-year-old brings gun to school for at least the 3rd time this year. In Pennsylvania, a mother in Norristown was arrested after her 6-year-old son brought a gun to school. Mom arrested after 6-year-old, another 6-year-old, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, it's happening. And it's because people are there's no sense of responsibility. I don't think it's a gun violence issue, right? There's violence. There's a lot more stabbings, a lot more killings, a lot more beatings and strangulations that happen than you would ever know. Okay. Having worked at a police department before, a lot of the calls that we would get, crime. Yes. And I worked in a smaller community, but there was always some sort of crime, some sort of violence happening to some other person. And rarely was it actually a firearm utilized. Okay. That's what I got firsthand experience of. I believe it's a myth, quite simply because a gun is a tool. A gun cannot commit violence. A person using a gun can commit violence. A person using a car, as we recently saw, can commit violence and mass murder among several people walking down the street. It's not just a gun. A gun is a tool. And in the way that a tool can be used badly, it can also be used for good. And we don't hear that enough because that doesn't help force an agenda. We don't hear about how many hundreds of thousands of lives are saved, possibly even more, because it's hard to quantify how many lives are saved when a mass killer is stopped. All you hear is 17 people killed at a high school or something like that when men with guns showed up and ended it. How many lives did they save? Potentially the hundreds that were left in the school, right? People don't look at it that way. Anyway, no, I don't think we have a fucking gun violence epidemic in this country. Thank you, Black Camo, $10 for the contribution and everything. Do you think most of the laws that get passed are mostly passed because law enforcement and government officials are exempt? And do you think it would change if they were not exempt? I think a reason a lot of these laws get passed is because at the end of the day, it doesn't affect them. Exactly. They're exempt, right? These politicians that make up these laws, they can make anti-gun laws all day and night. Why? Because they're protected with people carrying guns that isn't going to affect them, because the last time they had to carry a gun for self-defense was never. They don't have to worry about walking the street and feeling as if they could be raped, murdered, robbed, or anything else like that, something bad happening to them, because they don't live that life. They don't live the life that a majority of Americans live. They don't live people just trying to walk to the grocery store, walking home from the grocery store because that's what time their job let off at 1 o'clock in the morning or something, right? I used to work at Best Buy when I was in high school and just after high school. And I'll never forget when holiday season came around, it was a scary time because my location, which actually isn't a location anymore, it would be dark as night. It'd be 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock at night sometimes, especially whenever Black Friday rolls around. Don't get me started on that. But I can say it now. But yeah, I carried a gun. Absolutely. I carried my pistol with me even before I was 21. I'll admit it. Is that? Well, there's no proof of that. No, but all being... Actually, no, I did have my concealed carry permit. I was 21. So with that being said, there you have it, right? Yeah, I'd carry a gun with me. Why? Because, well, it's that entire mentality of that tried by 12 rather than be carried by 6 mentality, right? So there you have it. And, I think a lot of times these politicians, they don't ever have to be put in a situation like that, where they think they might be in a situation. Like I said, my Best Buy store location was in a dark back part of a, big shopping center, all the way in the back, very low lit, and it'd be shady as hell back there. There's been multiple times where vehicles were broken into and people were approached as employees were leaving, right? So I don't know what a criminal would expect to get out of somebody, working a $8 an hour job, walking to their beat up car from Best Buy late at night, but you never know. Sometimes they want more than just what you have in your pocket. So anyway, yeah, a lot of these laws get passed by people that never actually have to exercise, that aren't affected by them. So yeah, I agree with that. So anyway, Bogo, thank you so much. Do you believe felons should have the right to bear arms once they serve their time, regardless of the types of felons they are? So that's what I was getting back to before. I do believe that felons should have all rights given back to them if they have served their debt to society, right? Yeah, they should. And if you say, okay, so you feel that way about a violent criminal, somebody that perhaps, committed a sexual assault or something like that against someone, then my response to that quite simply is, if we can't trust these people to be in society and exercise their full rights as U.S. citizens, then why are they not still in prison, right? Why are they not still incarcerated? Okay. So that's how I feel about that. So it's, not a clear, it's not just a simple yes or no when it comes to that, but that is how I feel. So, and anyway, this is a funny comment. Can y'all just not do drugs for one night? What is this? Is this in response to something that I missed that? I'm not too sure. Oh man. That is funny. Hence why I EDC carry. I just want to get to a couple of here. That sounds crazy. Electronic babysitters. Yeah, wow. There's all sorts of stuff out there. We have a sickness in society problem, a breakdown in culture and tradition. Yeah, I think so. I agree with that. And there we go. So hold on. I got one more super chat in here really quick. Idiot Polovina, good morning. Where are you at? It's 8:00 at night where I'm at, just about. Good morning. Would you consider asking Katie for guest appearance? Maybe doing all girls video with her, Sarah, Ava Flanell. Not particular topic. They're girls. They'll find something to talk about. Wow. Perhaps, maybe. We are definitely going to have Sarah back on the channel again soon, hopefully. But Ava Flanell was great. Alex Zedra, all of these, what I really appreciate about, all these women that are stepping into, especially Ava Flanell. If you guys see what she's doing in Colorado, she's actually attending different hearings and things like that, trying to stop a lot of anti-gun legislation happening. So it's really cool that you see a lot of people, men and women, get involved in that manner. And with that, what I really appreciate too is more and more women continually look at Lena Mikulak as well, what she did with the Rose series of SIG P365s. What these women are doing are ultimately inviting more women to come into this predominantly male dominated industry and idea of firearms ownership and say, hey, this isn't just for the guys, right? It's not just a guy thing. Like, women can carry guns and protect themselves as they should, and as a lot do. And that number, as we keep seeing every year, that demographic of gun ownership among women, among minorities, keeps going up and up and up and up, which I think is great, because Second Amendment, as all constitutionally protected rights, should be equally applied and also exercised. So, it's a great thing. Do I know Coleon Noir? Yes, I do know Coleon. He's really bad at responding to text messages. So anyway, we're trying to work together some, get each other on each other's podcasts and stuff like that. But yeah, Coleon's great dude. Really love what he does and all that. And when I said Second Amendment applies equally, I'll leave it at that. All right. Yeah. All right. Anyway, Limey, €5. Thank you so much. Wow. Just thank you so much, Truth, and please do not stop. You armed U.S. citizens are the last bulwark against an era of global slavery. Wow, that is a strong statement, and thank you so much. I appreciate the support, and that means again so much. You guys are awesome, and I hate that where you live, unfortunately, is you guys aren't free. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And of course, it's funny because a lot of Europeans and, Asians, whomever else might look at us and kind of be like, oh my God, look at, you guys are freaking crazy over there. You got, school shootings happening every second. Never mind all the stabbings you guys have, or what happened exactly, just a week, 2 weeks ago in Serbia with the terrible mass killing that happened over there with a firearm being utilized, a school shooting there. So, the United States, we're not the only ones, right? And when you look at population, when you look at the size of the countries that we're always being compared to, we're a very big country with a lot more people, with a whole lot more demographics as well. We are definitely a large variety of people. We are a melting pot, and I think that's a beautiful thing about this country. And people want to try to compare us, as if we're equals to everybody else in the world. Well, I'm sorry, we're quite simply aren't. One of the biggest conversations I ever had was like, well, look at Australia did, and look at how their crime went down. And you're absolutely wrong, actually. Australia, the assaults, robberies among the elderly who could no longer defend themselves after 1995, whenever their gun control implementation happened, went up hundreds of percents. Just look at the book of Death by Gun Control, right? I mean, you guys, it's really funny that whole continents that look at Americans as if we have a gun problem are the same ones that have had governments kill literally millions of people within the last couple of decades. Don't at me. All right. Like, you guys are fucking idiots. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say you guys. You guys coming at me as if the United States has a problem. Your government over hundreds of years has killed how many millions, tens of millions, if not billions of people? Come on. Get out of here. Right? So I know it's, not fair to compare, right? But let's be real. Anyway, so thank you, Limey, for that. Freedom Vendor 76, thank you for the contribution. We need more women and people of color in the gun tuber space. We must combat the narrative. They can't come after all of us. They can try to come after all of us. That is true. However, I always kind of think about it. So many people are, tired of paying how much ever we're paying in taxes. What if we all just didn't? What if we all just stopped? 1/4. Every business doesn't do a payroll tax. Nobody pays whatever tax. Just, I would be curious as to what would happen. I would like to see somebody, some sort of economist or somebody, just see what happens. I really feel like our tax money is just kind of going to an absolute waste anyway, because, I mean, how many trillions of dollars? What's the debt clock at now? Dude, like I said, you can tax us as much as you want. You're not pulling. You guys did this. Our representatives did this, getting us into how many expensive and endless wars it seems like, and everything else like that. So, or conflicts. There you go. Anyway, we got a super chat in here. Thank you, Tanner, so much. $49.99. Wow, thank you. That's too much. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. And best MP5 setup, no budget. Would love to buy it from you guys. Well, if there's no budget involved, it's going to be full auto. It's going to be a legitimate MP5. I do absolutely love the Knights Armament tri-rail for the MP5. I mean, you're looking at about a $700-800 rail, depending. I've got the B&T on my AP5 that I really, really like. It's a little bit slimmer. There's also the Knights Armament. I mean, pretty much take a look at my videographer, Ryan. Take a look at his MP5 setup that we've shown in previous videos. And that would be that, but also full auto and not with a pistol brace. So, that's how I feel about that. Now, as far as the setup goes, I would like the Surefire Scout Mini on there. Again, how I have my AP5 set up exactly like that, but maybe with some more expensive parts, right? I kind of went a little bit more affordable, like with the B&T mounts, which again are very high quality and not exactly the cheapest things, but something I definitely like. No budget. It's going to be the Knights rail with the Knights. It's a Knights optics mount specifically for the Aimpoint T2 that it's so nice. And I even think it allows co-witness, if I remember correctly, which is, again, super cool. By the way, surprising, UTG has come out with a rail. Actually, God dang it, did I do it again? I don't know if it's been released. Again, I haven't signed anything. So if these guys get mad at me for saying something, you should have made me sign something. I'll remember when I signed something. But I don't think it's out just yet. So I don't know how much I can actually talk about it. But let me just say UTG MP5 rail. Yeah. They've got different rails out there, but not the one I'm talking about right now, because it's actually a handguard and optic mount combo. It looks UTG. These guys, they love to listen to their customers' feedback and they go with it. I know they got that reputation of being like very budget friendly, but we may be getting sent one to test and evaluate. I really hope. See, this is the bad part about live streams. Once I've said it, right? And I can't remember if I got told, hey, keep this on the hush hush or not. So anyway, but as far as my MP5 setup goes, yeah, dude, no budget. Gonna be a Select Fire MP5. It's gonna have the Surefire M600 Mini. Vertical grip up front, probably with the I want to have the pressure pad on the left hand side, so that way it'd be easier for me to activate the light. I would have, again, being Knights Armament, I'm also going to have that same type of mounting system that actually integrates into the rail itself, and it's going to go up on top of the actual receiver of the MP5. I cannot remember what it is called, but it is not cheap, and it is the Knights Armament rail for MP5. It's amazing what Google will do for you. And let's see, Knights Armament rail / optic mount combo. And yeah, it looks like NS Armory's got something out there, little things like that. But that actually, what's cool about that optic mount is it actually mounts to the rail itself and not actually to like the claw mount, like how it mounts to the receiver of the MP5. That's not how this one works. It's a really cool thing. And if I remember correctly, it does allow co-witness, which is hard to find on a what am I trying to say right now? On an MP5. All right. So anyway, dude, you will always be cracking me up with that. But Tanner Sitterman, I do again really appreciate you. That means a lot. So all right. We are right outside Charlotte, North Carolina, PZ. Right outside Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's see here. I just want to get to a couple more of you guys too, because it's already been over 2 hours, I think. Yeah, 2 hours. Man, I am, for somebody who talks for a living, I am surprised you guys want to keep hearing me talk. and on top of that, donate. Like Richard, dude, thank you so much, man. Thank you. We again really appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing, Clint, all of Classic Firearm. Keep peeps informed. The American firearm owners are the last stand. So you're not even asking a question, you're just making a great comment. Absolutely. So the American firearm owners are the last stand. I think Reagan did a lot of things wrong, but one thing right is we are that shining city on the hill. That's for sure. I absolutely love this country. dislike our government greatly. But, you know, it is what it is, you know, so I wouldn't give this up for anything. So, you know, and we can talk about Ronald Reagan later. Do I think he was, you know, a good man, things like that? Yeah, sure. But at the end of it all, he did implement the Gun Control Act and also raise taxes quite a bit too. So anyway, hate to burst somebody's bubble there, but with all that, seeing what the cat is all about, don't tell Clint any secrets. Yeah, Rusty. Yeah. When it comes to gun stuff, right? I can keep a friend secret. All right. That's cool. I consider myself a good friend. But I would be friends with me. But I would say that if you are a manufacturer and you've got something you want to keep secret and you want to send it to me for testing and evaluation, please tell me, hey, we haven't released this to the public yet, or it's still in prototype phase. Don't even talk about it. If it breaks, let us know how it broke. Look, we've done this before for companies in the past, but literally the UTG thing that was just in passing. And that was like, oh, hey, by the way, UTG reached out. They want to send us for testing and evaluation. Okay, cool. Yeah, tell them to send it. So, you know, maybe something should have been told to me even more. I don't know what to tell you. Okay. I'm just trying to convey and to let you guys know all the cool shit that's coming to the market. All right. By the way, there's one of my good buddies calling me right now. I have to call him back here in a little bit. So anyway, with all that, getting back through it here, I wonder if he's watching and he just wants to be on the live stream. That would be kind of funny. Robert, if you're watching and you just want to be on the live stream, that's rude. But, anyway, one of my best friends right there. So I guess we could be friends, Clint. Rusty, I see you there again, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. But Richard, getting back to you, man, really appreciate the contribution again. Thank you so much for your comment and all that. That really means a lot to us. Just all around. Thank you so much. Clint, Loki Knight. Nice name. Clint, your thoughts on the James River Armory AR-15? I purchased one from Classic Firearms and can't find any reviews. Would you consider doing one? I thought we had one out there about the James River AR-15 because for the price, that is a really good gun. If I type in JRA AR-15, there's a lot of Classic Firearms videos that come up. That's pretty funny. 10-year-old son transitioning from full-size AR-15 to pistol. That's with an M&P Sport. The best 223 5.56 guns that aren't AR-15s with Alec. Alec, if you're watching, hope you're doing well, bud. He and I stay up to date on Instagram with each other. You know, I thought we had a video on the James River Armory AR-15. I think that actually might be it. So we may not have actually done a. There's our intro music. Oh man, what's interesting things? Full circle. If you go to, I thought I could have sworn when the gun first came out a while ago that we did a video on that, and maybe it's just not on our site anymore. I know we had to remove a lot of videos. We did have at one point, like, oh God, 2,000 some odd videos on there. Now we're down to like 1,700, something like that, because we were looking at getting monetized on YouTube. You know, why not, right? We do, like, when we do our Classic Firearm, our cfcontest.com content, we'll do a YouTube safe version and a Rumble version, which the more entertaining one will be on Rumble, right? So there you have that. Okay. But anyway, again, I really appreciate you guys. Tanner, Sitterman, again, your comment, your super chat, along with you, Richard, and everybody else that's contributed. That means the world to us. So thank you guys so much. All right. But anyway, let's see here. There's a couple more too. One of you guys mentioned Lauren Bobert. Yes, she is awesome. I've been invited to a couple of things with her, but our schedules really just don't match up. And a few of you have actually DM'd me if I'd be, looking to get into the political arena, and I'll probably be honest with you guys, probably not. that's just a lot of shit that I don't feel like dealing with. You know, and I'm not going to say it's hopeless. I'm really glad that we have a lot of, like Thomas Massey, like Lauren Boebert. We've got a lot of Pro 2A individuals that are representing us. And I think that's great. But as far as me getting into that, I don't know. I like getting dressed up on occasion, but I don't know if wearing a suit and tie every day to work. Maybe I'll wear, if I ever took a political job, they're not our leaders, by the way. If I ever took a political job, I think I'd keep my classic Firearm shirt, and just wear that in. I don't know. But anyway, I guess I shouldn't look at it as a job, even though it is. If I ever took a political office, I don't know. I don't know about all that. All right. Anyway, appreciate you guys so much for the compliments and everything else too. Rusty, thanks for sending the $2. I'll try not to spend it all in one place. You guys are too freaking good, man. But anyway, back to the James River AR. Hey, the gun worked really, really well. I think the fit and finish initially when the first batch came out, I think the fit and finish was pretty good. And then they really started getting into like a theme of things. And now the later ones are even better, I think. But anyway, Frank, thanks so much, man. Appreciate you. Clint, your voice is speaking for so many of us, and the work you're doing for our rights is much appreciated. Keep it up. Thanks from California. Hey, man. Thank you, honestly. And with that too, think about it this way, guys. If Mr. Guns and Gear, if his information is still correct, 1 out of every 7 gun owners are a California resident. California has a lot of gun ownership. They also have a lot of stupid gun laws, but that's one state. Is it possible? Could it be that California comes back from the dark? Could they come to be a pro-free state one day? I don't know. I don't know about that. Not when you got the likes of Nancy Pelosi around still. Anyway, she probably will. Anyway, I think she's like a vampire or something. Definitely a lizard person. I don't know. I'm going to get you guys down in the chat now. Robert Terry, thank you so much. Hey, Clint, I bought a Mark 18 because of you. I love it. Thank you. Oh, man. I do love my Mark 18. Again, it's sitting off camera right over there. And got my RC2 on it. The D-Ball A3 on top, Surefire right on the side, Tango down grip up front, pressure pads, EOTech, Viking Tactics sling for the time being. Yeah, Geisley, single stage trigger on it. I like it. B5 system, furniture, solid. But yeah, the Mark 18 is a fun gun, dude. At the end of the day, is it like the most effective tool for the 5.56 round? No. But is it definitely good for what I want it for, which is within 100 yards? Oh, yeah, absolutely. So there you go. Robert, appreciate the support. All right. Anyway, so having a hard time finding a competition type outside the waistband holster for my Canik rival. Any suggestions? My buddy Eric, you guys are going to hear me mention Alpha Omega Kydex holsters all the time because he does actually have the mold for just about every gun on the freaking market, including every accessory you could think of. If you want it to have an optics cut, if you want it to be with a stream light or a Surefire or even a an exploding light like an O-light or something, you could have all of that if you want, and he'll have a holster for it, which is pretty freaking nice. Also, McBrand06, I really like your thumbnail. It is of the Meridian Defense Pestilence, and I have one of those, which is why I like that a lot. So yeah, great rifle, great AK variant. Definitely a chance on that, or a favorite of that. Any chance of me growing a mullet? Absolutely not. Just because I would do it for you guys totally, but the Marine Corps would definitely say no. And my facial hair grows faster than what a mullet would. So that's why I don't do a good job as a Marine and don't shave all the time. For those of you that are wondering, yes, I still am actively serving, but I am a reservist in the Marines. All right. I am a ammo tech, and growing a mullet would not fit our standards at all. Anyway. All right. Scrolling on through, just taking a look at any more here. Let's see. Having a hard time finding a competition holster. There you go. Jonah, can you add some context? Being a liar is the top priority. I'm trying to understand. Are are you okay? I think I get it. You're talking about becoming a politician, right? Yeah, that's why I don't think I do all that well too, because I think I'd be honest and say, I think a lot of people don't want to say things that might make them lose favor with their constituents. And the irony is if they're just being honest with their constituents, and their constituents are going to actually back them, right? And so, if I got voted into office one day because I said, hey, I want to defund the ATF and the FBI and get rid of the IRS and actually start, reasonably spending money that we don't have, well, then cool. Maybe I'll actually continue on that thought process, and my voting record should reflect as such. If those are my platforms, then great, stick to them. And if I don't stick to them, then I expect my constituents to vote me the hell out of office, right? So, and then the good ones out there, like Trey Gowdy and things like that, they actually set term limits for themselves. They say, hey, I had a job to do. I did that job. I'm done. I'm out. Bye. I represented my people well. I'm glad that they continue to vote for me and support me. Left, and it sucks. It seems like the ones that want to stay in power, stay in power. Anyway, continue on here. Got a couple more super chats coming through, which again, I see you guys in there talking about different barrel lengths and things like that, 20-inch or bust, stuff like that. That's pretty funny. Let's see here. Look, man, I'll be honest with you. I really want to pronounce your name and give you the shout out and all that type of stuff. Rakesh Gagar. I'm sorry. All right. But thank you so much for the contribution, and thank you for, viewing and everything else. How do you feel about the Panzer Arms SCR X2 tactical shotgun? And can you get a larger magazine? It looks sweet, but does it run? And can I rely on it? I'll be honest with you. My initial take on Panzer Arms when I first started working for Classy was like, Turkish shotgun company. There's so many of them out there. Do they work? And the truth of the matter is they run, and they run very well. Their, M4 clone, the Panzer M4, runs very well. I can get all 5 shots off at literally 0.99 seconds. And that's awesome. That gun runs very well. And I've had plenty of friends purchase multiple of them. And a buddy of mine recently, Matt, if you're watching, hey, got one, put 500 rounds to it in one day without any, straight out of the box, 500 rounds. He put birdshot, buckshot, and slugs to it, a combination of all 3 different types of rounds, all different types of shot. But he said he shot 500 rounds in one day with it, just him and a couple buds having fun. Why wasn't I invited, by the way? Just that thought came to mind. But anyway, Matt, if you're watching, I'm expecting a response to that. With that, it worked flawlessly. He said he didn't oil it, didn't clean it, didn't lube it, didn't do anything to it other than just take it out of the box, load it, and shoot it. And he had a great time with it. So, and then after we got Panzer to come and visit, and they really gave us and talked to us about Panzer Arms and how they differentiate themselves from other Turkish shotgun manufacturers, it was really impressive. Either they definitely, practiced that, but I don't think that's the case. We made friends, and I'm happy to have had them on the channel. And of course, they make a product that works. So, personally, the SCR X2 tactical shotgun. Again, guys. There's a lot of guns that we handle and that we carry. I don't remember exactly what a lot of them are off the top of my head. So if I, have to pull it up and take a look, forgive me. But, that's the scar looking one. That's right. So what's really cool is they all take that standard, whatever that magazine pattern is that a lot of the different Turkish shotguns take. And so the drum mags, the extendos, things like that, they will definitely work with that gun. So that's really funny. So Clint, the SCR, okay, you see what they did there? So yeah, so they made it look kind of like a scar, right? And, I haven't pulled the trigger on that just yet, but as far as I can tell, I think it takes the same components and internals as like their AR-12s do and everything, and those guns run a lot and very well and effectively as well. So I would trust that one. Absolutely. All right. So thank you again so much for that. Thank you, Kyle, so much for the support. Again, you guys are so freaking generous. Thank y'all. Y'all are just awesome. Tim, is an LWRC worth it? Yeah, it is, especially since they came out with the 300 blackout. The A5 300 blackout, that's the shorty boy. Solid, freaking solid. All right. Probably not, but I thank you for your support. All right. Thank you guys so much. What is that? Oh, wow. Yeah, that's pretty funny. DLD After Dark. I would probably be the most popular politician with the public right up until the point I got Clinton. That's funny. Clinton getting Clinton. He got himself, shot himself twice in the back of the head. Yeah, well, see, I actually carry a gun for self-defense. I think a lot of these other people that, get Clinton probably don't. They typically expect somebody else to protect them. Anyway, man, do I have any experience with the Umarex MP5 SD and 22 long rifle? Absolutely. And it is a lot of fun. 10 out of 10 would recommend. All right. So definitely a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and get to Kyle here again. Thank you so much, Kyle. Big fan of the channel. Clint, you guys definitely had an influence on me purchasing my first firearm, Glock 19. That's great, man. You didn't go wrong there. The Glock 19 is hands down a fantastic firearm. Many firearm purchases coming. Lots of love from the Communist Republic of Cali. So again, another California gun owner, man. Shout out to you guys. Y'all are living it. There you go. Man, and there's also a debate in the chat right now with 40 cal versus 10 mil. I see it here. And I got to tell you guys, I'm team 10 mil. All right. So take that for what it is. Maybe we'll do a 10 mil versus 40 cal, video one day soon. I think it'd be pretty fun. So it's Skyman 456. Hey, Clint. Just recently snagged an original pre-banned Belgian FAL. Wow, that's cool. What would be a nice optic to throw on to the rifle and any other accessories or modifications? I would add to the rifle DSA. DSA makes probably the best FAL aftermarket accessories for your both metric and inch pattern. And dude, yeah, if you want to throw an optic on there, their dust cover with the Picatinny rail integrated is one of the best. I haven't looked into a co-witnessing option. However, you can definitely get some different risers that allow you to still get that optic sight alignment. But if you drop down, you can still see your iron sights. If you don't care, then you don't care. That doesn't really matter, right? So there you have that. But again, thanks for the comment. Thanks for asking. Big fan of the FAL platform here. So anyway, let me come back through here. Saw another one of you guys here. Ryan, let's see. Do you guys have a physical location? I'm going to be in Charlotte and Raleigh in a few weeks. Well, that's awesome. If you're around and you see us out and about, come say, hey. We do like to frequent the area around Matthews, Monroe. What is that? Sun Valley over there quite a bit because of there's a Mexican restaurant over there that we like to go to, especially for their margaritas. They have a spicy like jalapeno margarita that is to die for. It's called Charanda. Excellent place. 10 out of 10 would recommend. So there you go. Go be in that area. You'll probably see us. But no, we do not have a physical location. Well, I mean, obviously we have a physical location, but no, we don't have an actual open to the public storefront or anything like that. Again, we want to have Ben, who started Classic Firearms, on the podcast to give kind of a little bit of history about the company, because we did actually have a physical location at one point in time, but we decided to move all of our efforts into our online business and, of course, the YouTube channel. All right. But anyway, so thank you so much for that. Kyle, again, I see you there, man. Thank you so much for the contribution. Again, that's just that means so much. Thank you, guys. You guys are the best. All right. And I think I'm starting to slow down here, guys. I'm not going to lie. I'm talking for pretty much 2.5 hours straight. I know a lot of you guys are probably like, well, yeah, it should be easy for you. But on top of that, My Ardbeg is getting low. So there you go. But it's okay. I'll keep going. Let's go for another couple minutes here. So I might start calling it at 8:30. And I'll say I might start calling it because if you've been watching for a while, if you've been listening to the podcast, I always start to wrap it up. And then I go for like another 15, 20, 30 minutes. So there you go. And I see a lot of you guys down here, 10 millimeter, 9mm is GOAT, things like that. But man, that's so funny. You guys are hilarious. All right. So anyway, SIG X10. Yep, good gun. I am really, really looking forward to that. FN came out with the 510. And I see you, DLD, talking about that. FN 510 and Glock 40 are both excellent 10mm pistols. Yeah. The FN 510 is one that I'm really excited to get my hands on. First of all, when I interviewed them at SHOT Show, FN, they called me out, actually. What was really cool about walking into FN's booth was the fact that multiple of their employers, their show floor reps, came up, shook my hand and said that they were fans of the channel. And they actually really appreciated my criticisms of some of their firearms, like the reciprocating charging handle on the SCAR for the longest damn time. They also appreciated my criticism of the FN 509's gritty trigger. And they actually said on camera, fill the 510 and the 545's trigger. I think you'll like it a little bit more than the 509's. And it kind of made me like, oh shit, but they're absolutely right. The 510 and the 545 are amazing. They have spectacular triggers and something that I am definitely a fan of. And I just want to make sure too that, anyway, sorry guys. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, cool. Yep. I see that Infinite Defense notified me of a referral order. So thank you, one of you guys, for purchasing one of their targets utilizing my code. That's great. But yeah, I keep my phone on Do Not Disturb during the live streams because I want to make sure I'm talking to you guys. But every now and then with family and stuff like that, I need to check my messages, make sure I'm not missing anything that's going on. Guys, make sure you're taking care of your family out there, all right? I know on my Instagram I said I was going to try to get to my more of my DMs and things like that, and I am getting to them, so just give me a little bit of time on there, all right? But anyway, I also mentioned in that story, go hug a family member, tell them you love them, and also take an anti-gunner to the range, all right? But anyway. Oh yeah, no, Rusty. Yeah, dude, definitely. I've had plenty of Mexican food down in San Antonio and stuff like that. And typically the first thing we do when we get off the plane is let's go get some tacos. Right. And we don't go to like, Taco Bell, obviously. No, what's the other place that a lot of people like to go to that I don't really consider authentic tacos? It's a really popular thing down there though. I can't remember it now, but anyway, here we go. Duke Johnson. How do I feel about Nighthawk Customs 1911s and 2011s? Any experience with them versus Wilson Combat? Nighthawk is nice stuff. Yes, I've had a little bit of experience with them, and I got to tell y'all, I am very impressed with them. And their pricing is also impressive in a expensive way. So, there's that. Wilson Combat, tried true, just works so damn well. I'm a big fan of their magazines. I run all Wilson Combat mags in my 1911s, and my Colt railgun, which is pretty much my carry gun out in the woods and stuff like that. If it's not my here I am wanting to reach and grab a gun to show you guys, but apparently I get in trouble if I do that on live streams. My new Henry Big Boy 357 revolver. That's another one that if I'm just walking around in the woods, I might just take with me just for fun. But anyway, for those of you that are saying FNX 45 or 510, things like that, I love my FNX 45 tactical. That's my go-to gun for most situations, things like that. But the 10 mil is something I really, 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 really want. So, no, DeVore McClure, I did not start Classic Firearms. I did not. That was Ben, and Ben started this company a little over 30 years ago, and he started doing the YouTube channels with a little camcorder. It seemed like maybe on a Nokia flip phone at one point or something. And it was just him in the backyard, him showing off different product. And if you guys don't even know who Ben is, that's blows my mind, because he was the one. Just go back to Classic Firearms on our YouTube channel and just go and look at all the different videos that we have. And you'll see Ben for sure. And he's the one that started the company, started the channel essentially, and made it pretty much what it is today, which is pretty exciting stuff. So no, I did not start Classic Firearms. All right. Anyway, coming on through a little bit more. This is a pretty good question too, Eric, because he wants my opinion on the Daniel Defense DDM4 PDW 300 Blackout or SIG MCX Rattler cane brake or Maxim Defense PDX. And my response to you is Spear LT 300 Blackout. That's what I want. I want the SIG 300 Blackout Spear LT. So SIG, if you're listening, that's what I want. I also want the SCAR 15P with the non-reciprocating charging handle in 300 Blackout. Those would seem like ideal situations and setups for me. But I will say that I've shot the DDM4 PDW. I've shot the PDX. I've shot the cane brake. And they all feel pretty much the same. They all feel, good. It really just gets down to price point. Maxim Defense has a really cool setup. I like theirs a lot. But as far as if I had to take any one of those, it depends. Because I will say with the MCX Rattler, whenever you suppress that, you get quite a bit of pop back to the face, being a that short of a system with a short stroke piston driven design. If you're utilizing like a Huxworks can with the flow through technology, then that, definitely helps. It's hard to say right off the top of my head which one I would take without having all three of them to compare with the exact same can and stuff like that. But it might be the Maxim though. Might be the Maxim, because Maxim makes some pretty cool stuff there, but especially SD, so there you go. Anyway, Anthony, I see you. Thank you, Anthony, so much. What brand lure would you go with for a budget AR build? Looking at doing a pinned and welded build just so I can avoid having a tack stamp. I get that. So you could go 13.9 or 14.5 with a long enough muzzle device. If you're going for a budget build, I'll be honest with you, man. There's nothing wrong with Anderson. Nothing wrong with Anderson whatsoever. Arrow Precision. Most of my builds have been done with Arrow. Their availability, price, things like that make them a very easy manufacturer to work with. So Arrow, Anderson would be great. Who else am I missing right now off the top of my head? Shit. Yeah, you guys help out our buddy Anthony in the comments here, and just let him know. PZ, you look like you drink whiskey. You also said what's in the cup, my coffee cup. Yeah, I do like my whiskey. I also like my scotch, and that is what I'm having tonight. I am having some Ardbeg. I like my smoky peaty Isla scotches. So Solancha, cheers to all of you. And repeal the NFA. Cheers to that. All right. So there you have it. All right. And I think honestly, I probably just leave it off there, guys. I see them, I still got a lot of you guys here and in the chat and everything else, and I really appreciate you all. But I'll be honest with you, I'm getting tired. I might play some more, Red Dead Redemption. I don't know. I just really started getting back into that game because it's pretty chill, low key, things like that. And so, I might, I don't know. But right now, let's before I go, everybody that's having a drink with me tonight, what are you guys having? I see, let's see, I saw somebody in here, DLD. I see the Macallan 12 and 15. All right. Respect. I see it. There you go. All right. I saw somebody saying some Hennessy. I feel you. That's what's up. All right. The Mark 18, is it still my favorite? What do you mean by my favorite? It's hard to determine my favorite. Is it my favorite short-barreled rifle that I own? Yes. Is it my favorite 5.56 chambered gun? I don't think so. It's still a Daniel, but it's going to be my Mark 12. I love that gun. It is such a flat shooting, smooth shooting, accurate gun. And anytime I take a new shooter out there, I take a new shooter out to the range, excuse me, they fall in love with it too. It's just a light, fun shooting gun, so there you go. Gatorade and vodka, milk stout nitro. Nice. Like that. Got Stoli vodka. There we go. Crown apple, cranberry juice. Man, you guys are hilarious. Bud Light. That's pretty funny. Anyway. Water. Yeah, I should probably actually drink some more water too. Twisted tea when you're feeling spicy, man. I tell you what, somebody wants to, throw some, racist slang at you. Just hit them with that twisted tea, man. All right. Anyway. All right. Yeah, a couple of you have asked me about playing Ready or Not. That is one that I think I probably should hop on. No, I don't stream right at the moment. We kind of leave that up to Kaya. He's got his old streaming set up and all that type of stuff. But that's not to say that we don't. Or I won't. But yeah, so there you go. Rusty is right. There is water in all of these drinks, so there you go. All right. Y'all are freaking hilarious, dude. I freaking swear, man. Oh, man. Much love from Duke Johnson. Much love from North Arkansas. Back to work. Repeal the NFA and God bless. All right. Yep. I'll leave it off there, guys. That's a good one, I think, to leave it off on. So thank you guys so much again for joining the stream. Y'all are the best. I think you guys are probably some of our, most loyal viewers and subscribers and things like that. And, especially all of you that are contributing to the super chats and stuff like that. I honestly would never have thought that I would get to this point in my life where I'm just sitting here in front of a camera with a microphone and a drink, just talking guns and stuff to people that I've never met. Some of you I have, some of you I've worked with, but a majority of you I've never met. And something that's really humbling is when I've had people come up to me at shows and things like that and, shake my hand and say, dude, I know you don't know me, but I feel like you're, one of my best friends. Cause we always talk, right? I know it sounds weird, but I get where they're coming from because, it's like, hey, it's kind of like if I call up a friend of mine, like my buddy Robert was just calling me and wants my opinion on something, they'll go to YouTube, type it in. And well, we have over, 1,800 videos now. So we probably have a video on what it is you might be looking up. And if we don't, we probably have one coming soon. And so it's kind of like, okay, cool. Let's have a conversation about it. And I give you my honest opinion about stuff. And, so it's wild to think that I'd be in a situation in this life where people would actually be willing just, to not even talk to me, but pay to, just at the opportunity of me answering one of y'all's questions. I think that's pretty cool stuff. But anyway, Josh, one more. What do you think of Rock Island Armory pistols? I'm looking at their 1911 10 mil with 16 rounds. Solid stuff. I've had multiple Rock Island 1911s, even one of the old school ones with the banner going across, but yeah, so that's that. But yeah, I know, dude. Jonah to Summit, but that's how it is. We're on the same page and the internet is weird that way. Yep. But I appreciate you guys again so much. And it's always really humbling to get put on here and talk with you guys. So anyway, Clint, I'm putting you as a if I keep reading these, if y'all keep posting comments, I'm probably going to keep reading them and delaying me going to bed. But anyway, Clint, I'm putting you as a reference on my resume. Thanks in advance for all the good things you're going to say. Tell Andrew to keep an eye out. Is it Andrew at Surefire? Or is it Andrew? Wait, Joe, who are you talking about? What your reference on your resume to what? Classic? Andrew, who are we talking about here? Anyway, we'll leave it off there, guys. Hey, again, I just want to say, appreciate you all. And God bless you guys. 2 world wars. I see you. And tune in next Monday. I'll be back. I do believe this coming Saturday, I'll be on a podcast with my buddy Tonto, Chris Tonto Peranto. You guys will know him from 13 Hours. So be expecting as a little update on that. And I completely forgot to get back into Federalist 29 and talking about the militia. And what the Second Amendment is all about. Wow. Okay. So next week, we're going to be talking about that. Stay tuned. I'll put up another Ask Me Anything on Instagram too, for those of you that might not be able to join live. But anyway, I'll leave it off there, guys. So, hey, God bless you guys again. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll see you next week. And of course, you'll see me in this week's videos. See you guys.